Best Public Affairs Program. And the star goes to Open for Business Net 25.
It is a signal to the world that we are open for business.
We are now open for business. This is Cesar Vallejos bringing you yet another episode to guide you in discovering your passion and growing your business as we learn from experts in the field. Sama-sama tayong matuto sa isa na namang makabuluhang usapan tungo sa pagpapaunlad ng inyong negosyo. Ang Open for Business ay mapapanood nyo rin sa Facebook at YouTube. Siguraduhin na rin mag-like at mag-subscribe sa aming social media page at Net25TV. Ating alamin, suriin mula sa mga negosyante, thought leaders at mga personalidad sa iba't ibang larangan ng mga strategies, trends at mahalagang karanasan sa pagninegosyo dahil tayo ay open for business. Give peace a chance. As our cultures advance, many interests are expected to clash. Mostly it's driven by the desire to dominate that causes these conflicts. And so it is laudable when individuals or institutions make it their life's mission to propagate peace through their actions. In this episode, let's celebrate the Peace Laureates recognized by the Sino Asia International Peace Awards. In the Philippines, Chinese influence is as sure as the morning sun. It all started when traders from mainland China conducted business in our country way before our colonial history. Currently, we are surrounded by important enterprises that were built by Chinese immigrants who started from scratch and became successful for generations to come. While only about less than 2% of our population have Chinese parents and 1 out of 4 of Filipinos have Chinese ancestry, they are very much part of our daily lives. And so strengthening the relationship between Chinese and Filipinos is an important facet. More so when both are working side by side, be it in business or philanthropic work, they make a difference. The Sino Asia International Peace Award Foundation has even leveled that up by recognizing the peace efforts of distinguished individuals in the field of medicine, humanitarian work, public service, business, journalism and broadcasting, education, and arts. We speak to some of these outstanding individuals with significant contributions from their respective fields, as well as the organizers of this noble initiative to promote peace. Open for Business is back, and we are honored to have with us Sir Billy Chan, the chairman of the board of the Sino Asia International Peace Foundation. How are you, Sir Billy?
Thank you, sir. I'm well.
Off cam, we were talking about how you travel from one country to another, and now you're back here in the Philippines, and you miss the Philippines because of the, after the COVID-19, after the pandemic, a lot of are traveling already. Can you give us more of the background between these countries where you're into?
Yeah, it's just like my second home. I love the Philippines. I've been coming back and forth many times before the COVID pandemic, and of course, the last 3 years has caused a lot of damages, not just financially, and also interrupt our Peace Award event and all that. So once we heard about the restriction has been lifted, and we've got direct flight coming out from Hong Kong and Macau. So right away, my board members here, I think we should organize a meeting here, and maybe perhaps we run a award ceremony like we used to. So it's sort of, I would say, back to normal. I'm happy to be back. Thank you.
Sir Billy, it's very interesting that with the geopolitical events that's happening around the world, people are affected by the adverse impact of these geopolitical events. And here is your foundation, your organization coming up with the Peace Awards, which is something that's very admirable. What's the background of this Peace Awards, and when did you start doing this?
Yeah, I always have this little voice in my little heart when I was a teenager. Peace is always what I yearn for. Ever since, actually in 1969, I was watching the telly, the black and white telly. That was on my birthday. And I got a candle on my cake, but the background wasn't that pleasing. It was wars in the Middle East, lightning news, and there's a lot of images that a 9-year-old child shouldn't be watching. So I'll blow my candle. I had a wish. I wished for peace, and this little voice still in me today. It will be for the rest of my life. So I started the foundation in 2018 here with many local directors and also a list of overseas directors. We'd like to become a peace award giving body based in the Philippines, but the awards will go to not just Filipinos, also well-to-do, brilliant laureates from around the world, and put them all here under one roof, and to promote and also restore some sort of faith in hope and peace, of course, in this part of the world.
Sir Billy, that's very touching in the sense that at a very young age, you see what's happening during that era. And of course, that has somehow resonated in your life. My question now is, what are the different challenges, in different disciplines that you think peace should be there? I know, for example, in Open for Business, we always talk with CEOs, thought leaders, and the key component or the key factor that they wanted to have would be business continuity. So if there's problems in peace and order, that disrupts their business.
Correct.
In your judgment in giving out Peace Awards, what are the challenges and how do you view them? What are the parameters for one awardee, to have so that they will be given a Peace Award?
Well, you look at what's happening around the world today, and if you asked me a question 3 years ago, would there be any war prospect in Europe? I would right away say the opportunity of having wars in Europe is huge, zero. But look at what's happening now, the last 12 months, the terrible images that you see on TV news, that sort of give us a wake-up call. And we cannot take everything for granted anymore. When you touch about geopolitical component and what's happening around the world, this part of the world in Asia, in ASEAN, or largely we view this as war prospect is almost zero, almost zero. Things that can be erupted can be avoided. So by doing like Peace Award, putting good laureates together, putting good scientists, laureates like from the academics, in arts, in all forms of specialities in their field, all these brilliant minds, great minds together, we are promoting some sort of goodwill for the region. And I think it's desperately needed for this particular region, especially Philippines, ASEAN countries, and Southeast Asia.
With many individuals, with many organizations, there are interests also, the causes of different individuals and groups. What is that objective of this foundation? Are there projects also that you do? Because, of course, with the creation of these laureates, this is a collaboration of brilliant minds
Yes.
with different key, powerful
Indeed.
influences. So, are you doing this also, to advance specific causes and projects, and to create impacts in different disciplines?
Yes, I have been involved in medical education back in Australia, and it just so happened about 10 years ago, I got an invitation to invite me back to this region, to Macau actually, to start a Faculty of Health Sciences. And in turn, we built the first medical school in Macau. And through that, we have also included the Philippines. We formed some sort of a Asia Pacific Forum. It's yearly event attached to our medical conferences and all that. So through that, I met a lot of brilliant surgeons here, medical practitioners, nurses. We have a lot of these events happening. So I always attach some sort of a charity component to it. Like before COVID, we have donated a lot of those ultrasound machines to the south, to Davao. I have also been involved in donating a lot of those laparoscopic, very advanced equipment to the south. And not just that, because we have these medical forums, we always brought experts with us. So these experts would teach the local surgeons how to operate with these advancements, with these machines and stuff like that. We're doing something good, not just having a meeting, have a couple of drinks and you go home, bye-bye. We're actually doing a lot of those live workshops and live demonstrations and donation and all that tie into it. So I found a bunch of brilliant doctors and friends, became good friends.
And Sir Billy, that's just one of the areas. You just spoke of medicine, but and here with the different categories and with the different laureates, they are coming from different backgrounds. We see them from education, environmental responsibility, performing arts. So what's the expected output of these awards, and what's the role of the foundation and the Peace Awards in the scheme of things, in how you influence maybe governments in the private sector also to support your causes?
We're a very small foundation in comparison to Nobel and those big peace award giving body in Norway or Sweden. And most of these giving bodies are in the United States or Europe. And this is the first, sort of one of the first of this kind happening in the Philippines. Yeah, there are many, of course, the Magsaysay Award and all that stuff. But I think we are doing it internationally, and also selecting the best from all around the world. Like this time we came here, we have the founding principal of the Royal Birmingham Conservatory. We had a lady, she's from the UK, living in Stratford. There is a Shakespearean theatre named under her. I have an Iranian diva that she has been singing the language of Farsi for 5 decades, and she sold, I think, 2 million copies or something. So that resonates not just to the local Iranians, also the Iranian overseas, knowing what's happening in Iran today. So all these sort of, it gives out a good message. We're promoting peace under one roof, like here in the Philippines.
Before I let you go, Sir Billy, what is your vision with the foundation? We know, as mentioned earlier, there's a lot of issues that surround, what's happening in different countries. What is the vision that you want to achieve? We know that we all talk about having world peace, but with your initiative, with the many projects that you're launching, how will people see that vision growing into reality?
Yeah, often people ask me about the motto of the foundation. As cliche as it is, the motto is very simple: make the world a better place for the future generations. And I think this is something that we can do, and we can do it right away. in half an hour, we're going to be launching this ceremony here in Manila. And another thing is I would like to see this foundation to be more sustainable and be part of the UN Charter, perhaps UNESCO or other UN NGO acknowledged, recognized peace award giving body. That's something that I yearn for, yeah.
As mentioned with Sir Billy Chan earlier during the conversation, the laureates come from the different disciplines. What is notable in this section now is that you also come from the medicine sector. What do you think is the role of peace in having healthy world? What's your view on the relationship between health and peace?
As you mentioned, the pandemic, although we are coming to near its end, as a medical worker, I've seen the worst of times, and I'm sure many people have experienced. We've all have lost ones, loved ones. When I was in some of the hospitals, I've seen extreme situations where the medical healthcare providers and nurses, they have working 12 hours, 16-hour shift, helping patients, and just exhausted. These are the people who, in times of great demand, they raise up and they sacrificing themselves without any asking for any return. These are our silent heroes in our community, and there are many, not only in the healthcare workers, all over different disciplines, even in arts and music, in commerce and banking, in all sorts of areas. There are people who silently will contribute to make sure that the world still runs as usual. Life goes on, and people are being helped, and people are still continue to be inspired by words, by the music, by whatever that they do best. So people are not hiding away during the pandemic, and these are people that we would like to recognize for what they have done.
Coming from your background as a doctor from Macau, what are the best practices of Macau, that you think should be also emulated by the Philippines or other countries?
First of all, I've been to the Philippines many times. Many years I've known a lot of surgeons in the Philippines. They're very good friends, very excellent clinicians. We always work together and try to discover new ways to help our patients. It's not enough just to see what's out there, what's available. There are many unmet medical needs. I mean, this pandemic shows us infective disease is a big challenge. Same with cancer. Same with neurodegenerative disease. So these are the big areas. There's a lot of unmet medical needs, and a lot of innovations, a lot of drug discoveries. These are not necessary in the realms of big pharmaceutical companies. There are a lot of experts in universities and researchers, and they need to work with the clinicians to complete clinical trials, and we need actually the support from governments, from the private sectors, from the industry, to put them all together, to work together to make things happen. You can see this in this pandemic. In such a short time, you are able to discover what is the agent causing the pandemic and finding the solution, the vaccines, created with that. And this takes a lot of people behind the scene working together to do that. So I think it's, I would say to the healthcare workers and medical doctors, don't just think what is available there and how you can help, but find solutions. If you're able to find solutions, bridge people together, and then I'm sure then you'll find that whatever it is for infection, for COVID, or even for cancer, for something, we'll find solutions.
In your view, What is wrong with the Philippine health or healthcare system, and what are your proposed solutions on these challenges?
I'm not in the best to say this because, but I have the honor to visit many hospitals in the Philippines. I've seen some very high-tech, very excellent hospitals. I've also seen many government-sponsored, and they are serving the majority of the Philippine people. Still, many of the infrastructures are lacking in some ways. So that puts a strain on the service.
So when you say infrastructure, are these maybe
Maybe
additional
even-
buildings or new equipment?
Well, I think there's just too limited resources to serve the large number of patients there. So I think basically maybe more hospitals are needed to serve the greater populations. But I think the will of the healthcare providers are there. They are very hardworking and committed.
What do you think is the role of these Peace Awards in the advancement of medicine? How will the laureates really make use of these Peace Awards to maintain peace?
First of all, the purpose of this award is to bring attention to people who have contributed greatly to the community, and we are recognizing their achievements. What is in addition is that we actually brings people from different disciplines together, and by doing so we create new energy, new opportunities, and new discoveries, the things that normally we don't come to get across, especially across different countries, and we find there are expertise and needs and things that we can complement each other. And by doing so, actually, we create new prospects and new opportunities are created. So I feel very optimistic and very happy in the things that we're doing right now for the future. I would just like to say that providing a better solutions for people around us, bringing so-called peace and to the community, to your fellow mankind. This is not a uniqueness to any one individual or any one country. It's responsible for everyone, every citizen on earth. And it's something that's from a child, they understand. But as we grow older, we are more focused into our own businesses, our own development, that sometimes we forget of this greater need. And I think it's just a reminder that yes, there are more need out there, more people that we should pay attention to, and I hope that this is the message we want to bring across. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Dr. Fong. Open for Business will be back. Stay with us.
Thank you.
Open for Business is back, and I am privileged today. This is something very historical because this is my very first interview with a U.S. Senator, and together with me is the Honorable Emmanuel Davy Jones, Senator of Georgia, Atlanta, United States of America. How are you, Senator?
I'm doing well.
Off cam, you were telling that this is not your first time here in the Philippines, and you've been coming here for more than a decade already.
That's correct. And the first time I came was some project that we did over in Mindanao with Global Peace Festival Foundation, and it's been my passion, certainly to reach to those that are underserved.
How do you describe the Philippines as a country, and now that you are, one of the laureates of the Peace Awards, where and what are the challenges that you have seen as far as the Philippines is concerned?
But certainly the Philippines is a beautiful, beautiful country. I've enjoyed the time that I've had an opportunity to travel around to the various places and the various islands, But more importantly, I've enjoyed meeting the people. It's a people that's rich in culture. When you look at the history of this great country, you can see how it's been part of various different dynasties around the world. And certainly as an American, we are excited for the opportunity that our country has played in the development and this great country. And I don't like talking about conflicts because we are peacemakers. But you cannot have a conversation about peace without understanding the conflicts that have occurred as well.
As you mentioned, diplomatic relationship between the Philippines and the United States is very long, and there's a lot of highlights in that relationship up to now. We see it flourishing. How do you think that relationship could still be stronger? Are there projects that you see?
Well, first let me just say that I serve on the State Economic and Development Committee for our great state. And I've traveled around the world with our committee and really politicians on both sides of the aisle, both Republicans and Democrats. This past year we were in UK and we were also in Germany. And it's important for those of us in Georgia that we reach out to other countries so that we can build a much stronger relationship. The commodities and trade is really important and critical to us. And we want that to be a bilateral exchange, not one way and not one-sided. We have a lot of, we'd love to see more businesses from the Philippines come to Georgia and set up shop, and certainly we'd like to see more of our businesses from our great state set up shop here as well. Considering the culture and the people that are here, certainly, I think this is a tremendous opportunity for both of us, both the United States and the Philippines, to build a much stronger relationship. Though that relationship has been strong historically, there's so much more that we can do to increase the opportunities bilaterally for this economic development for both countries.
Senator, it's admirable that you mentioned about these economic partnerships, because I think, even our president, goes to different countries and he's our #1 salesman, and he pitches to the different investors to invest here in the Philippines. My question now is, in terms of gaining more traction, in terms of really pushing for these pledges to be realized into actual economic activities, in terms of the implementation, do you see some improvements that can be done to really push these investments?
And I do. I see a lot of opportunity for improvement. One of the things that countries look for and businesses look for is certainly the economic and the education attainment of its citizens. I see that here. And certainly because of that education attainment, I think there's opportunities to incubate several businesses in this country, and businesses that have an opportunity to transfer technology, to transfer a lot of those opportunities that we've had in the United States over here as well. And not just transfer dollars, but that's important as well, because as you know, it takes a lot of capital to incubate any kind of business.
I hope this is not a political question, but there is somehow a shift in terms of world power, maybe. We see the Asian countries stronger and stronger, like China, for example, and of course with what's happening in the different parts of the world, there is some weakening of economies. So what's your take on that, Senator?
That's a very, very interesting question, and it's something that I've thought about for a very long time. And I don't think any of us geopolitically should be afraid of the strength of any one country over the other. I think it's more important to focus on those things that we have in common, those resources that we can share, those economic opportunities. And when you look at the global economy, there's a tremendous amount of investment that the United States has made in China and other parts of the world, and there's a tremendous amount of investment that those countries have made in the United States as well. And I don't want to take my eyes off of what's really important in those relationships. Any kind of business relationships wouldn't occur without people. And when you look at the Philippines, there's so much talent here. And certainly there's opportunities all over the globe. And historically, of course, Filipinos have always been willing to travel outside of the country in order to export some of their resources, primarily their talent as well. And I certainly hope that that continues, but at a much slower pace, because companies need to set up shop right here so that that talent can be retained.
You are recognized now as one of the laureates. How important and what's the significance of this award to you now? And how do you think can you tap this for bigger, better opportunities that can be taken advantage by both Filipinos and your constituents back in the U.S.?
As the chairman emeritus of the Sino Field Asia International Peace Prize, it's been my honor to work with certainly Sir Billy Chan and Dr. Falk in really creating this opportunity for laureates all around the world. And yes, I have been awarded a Peace Prize here in the Philippines. And that experience gained me a lot of traction in the United States and being able to work with other people within my respective communities. Our message here is very simple. Those laureates that we're bringing in from all over the world, we expect them to go out into their respective countries, their hamlets, their villages, so that they can continue to talk about peace and the importance of peace. All of our laureates have a particular skill set. And it doesn't matter if you're in education, if you're in music, or you're in medicine, whatever their specialty is, there's always an opportunity within their circle of influence to influence those that are in positions of power. And I certainly hope our laureates continue to do that all over the world.
Senator, if you can address the Filipino audience and the small businesses, because Open for Business also is a program that encourages small businesses, entrepreneurs to bounce back, from the pandemic. If you can address them, Senator.
Absolutely. First, let me say that I am a small business owner in the United States as well, by the way. And I'm an entrepreneur who started my company some 30 years ago. And because of that, it's allowed me to attend events like this and participate in events like this, and to be able to share those resources that I've acquired with other cultures. And I would hope that the Filipino people realize that it's just not enough to make money. I believe that the wealth that you attain creates an opportunity and a responsibility for you to go out and do more. As we say, each one, reach one, teach one. To me, that is the basis of those of us that have had an opportunity to grow businesses, where we can now reach out and we can now teach someone else some of the things that we've learned in our respective industries.
It's very interesting, Parvis, that the awards is giving it to a lot of nationalities in different areas all over the world. In your case, for example, I know that you are one of the big names as an architectural designer. You're into architectural design based in Los Angeles. So is this also the thrust of the foundation, wherein you recognize the contributions of citizens, whatever their nationality is, whatever their background is?
Exactly. We recognize whomever who are doing they have some impact for the humanities. No matter where they are from, we are proudly recognize them and appreciate their work by giving them and awarding them the Peace Prize Award for Sino International Foundation Award. People who create peace for everybody. If you have a beautiful setting house, you can live in it peacefully, even in your city or everywhere. So as soon as I see the project, either from the base ground or if the house is ready, I create the theme for them so they can live happily ever after in it. And so giving them a good harmony and beautiful setup of everything, color, picking everything, all the furnitures, even lighting, and creating a space planning. So that's why it makes them to live in that house very peacefully. They may even notice it, but I'm the one who's creating that lifestyle for them. So that's why they call me actually creator of luxurious life, and that's the name of my book too.
Wow, you create a luxurious life, and all over the world, people look for luxury. But in this age where there's a lot of geopolitical events, I don't want to be political here, Parviz, but what's your take on the many events happening around the world, in terms of disruption, there are disruptions around the world? What is the role of this architectural design as far as the impact of what's happening in terms of peace? Are you also disrupted, or are you also changing architecture because of the events that's happening that impacts on the economy, on the raw materials, on the cost of materials?
Well, whomever they have money, they come to me. But speaking of politics and everything, I cannot be here and not talking about the movement of life, women, and freedom, which is happening in Iran right now, which was started with the death of Mahsa Amini. And the movement has been started, and we are following that, and hopefully we will be able to create peace and freedom for all Iranian, especially women in my country.
Wow, it sounded not political when Parviz was the one who's mentioning it, because he talks about fashion and architecture and design. Now, I noticed that these people, the laureates, come from different backgrounds, different countries, and different disciplines. So, my question, Parviz, is how are these laureates coming from different disciplines contribute to peace, and how are you able to also tap the disciplines or expertise of these very influential people?
They nominate those people to our office, and then we have our own investigation to make sure that they are in a way helping people. No matter if they are journalists, they are singer, they are a politician, they are in physics, humanities, everything. As long as they help humanities, we recognize them and we gladly give them a peace award.
If you can also have a message to Filipinos, small businessmen, young entrepreneurs who also want to create that luxurious lifestyle and maybe architectural design that at par with the world-class standards.
As long as they work hard and they know what they are doing and followed your path, don't quit, no matter how hard it is, then you will be very much successful in your life and everybody's around you. So good luck with all the Filipinos. I love you guys.
As a Filipino, we are really honored and proud to be one of the recipients of this award, especially on the Peace Award under the Sino Philippines Foundation. And we are quite proud because one of the proponents of peace all over the world is Dr. Jose Rizal, where we are a member as on the Knights of Rizal. So it's a symbiotic relationship of Dr. Rizal and the Peace Award Foundation, the Sino Philippines Award Foundation.
Isa rin po kayo sa itinuturing na isang mga matagumpay na negosyante dito sa Pilipinas. Ano po ang maipapayo niyo rin sa mga negosyante na yung iba po, lalo na nung pandemya, nagsara, nalugi? Kayo po, alam ko na patuloy din, marami din kayong mga pinagdaanan na pagsubok. Ano po ang maipapayo nyo sa mga maliliit na negosyante para mapatuloy nilang sa pangalan ng programa namin, Open for Business?
Well, as we 2020 and 2021, 2022, we have opened. So all Philippines is opened, and surprisingly, under the wag tayong mawalan ng pag-asa because a lot of our companies, especially on digitalization, 50% of our consumption has been recorded as the reason why our GDP was increasing. You ask the Filipinos to go out, so everyone went out. So to our businessmen, just stay together. Sabi nga ni Jose Rizal, ang isang maliit na walis tingting, you can break it, but not a bundle of midribs tied together. So we go on together, we stay together, and we will flourish and grow together in this beautiful island, the Philippines.
Do you think, sir, with the geopolitical events that's happening, with the Russia-Ukraine crisis, and I'm sure it would continue to impact on oil prices and other, of course, that would also have impact on inflation. Do you see some sort of an end of this?
Well, as you can see, in the whole world, countries are affected by the Ukraine-Russia. The effects of not only on the oil and the supply and demand were disturbed, but in the Philippines, November and December, we were 8% inflation. So the problem is, can we sustain the inflation and the effects of war in Ukraine and the oil disturbance in the prices? Higher, lower, higher, lower. But what we can say is that the Filipino are very resilient. We have done this before, and we never went down because of international happening, but we were able to survive the financial crisis, Asian and world financial crisis. So I don't think we'll have a problem again, and we'll be Filipinos, especially our OFWs and BPO, we will succeed this coming year, the 2023. So the 4.5% projection for our GDP next year, I'm sure we will survive. We will go more than that.
Open for Business is also privileged to have with us one of the personalities who has a very prestigious political career. How are you, Sir Jerry Calderon?
Well, I'm now of course, the former mayor of Angono Rizal for 18 years, and now I finished my term, and luckily my daughter now is the mayor, and now the vice mayor of the town. But in continuing my services in a higher note, I was elected as the Supreme Commander of the Knights of Rizal International.
Your area, Angon Rizal, has a very rich history, and maybe I assume that is one of the reasons why you are, you have your office with this organization. Ano ang relationship ng mga pananaw ni Rizal sa kalayaan sa mga ginagawa ninyo ngayon?
Well, Angono, known as the art capital of the Philippines, from the scratch, Angono is fourth-class municipality in 1998. Then I became a mayor, and after 2 years, we transformed that into a first class with a 60 million income. Then after 18 years, 550 million. Now, before flooded town, Angono, traffic going to Taytay and going to Manila, it's 3 hours. Now, going to Taytay, it's only 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and going to Manila, it's an hour. Now, what we did is a lot of innovation, public-private partnership, and of course, we dredged our river through a public-private partnership. We invited the dredger, of course, in a free charge. Wala pong bayad. Ang bayad lupa. Then, after that, we worked with various national agencies, province, of course, with the province of Rizal. Very supportive po yung Governor Inares, yung Congressman Duavit. So lahat ng infra namin ay nagawa. And Angono now is a #1 in infrastructure sa National Competitiveness Index. And 4 times SGLG. 300 lang po yung binigyan na award dito nakaraan. Yan po ay 2,000 local government. Angono po ay isa sa 300 with the province of Rizal. Now, ano relasyon niya dito sa Knights of Rizal? The Knights of Rizal was mandated by the Republic Act 646, signed by President Elpidio Quirino, mandating the Knights of Rizal to advocate Rizalism as the Filipino identity. And of course, the works and teachings. Rizal, during his time in Dapitan, imagine 150 years ago, 125, bless his age, na-transform niya po yung Dapitan into something productive. Angono is just like Dapitan to me. My Dapitan is Angono. So part of our advocacy is to invite all Filipino, whether you are a Knights of Rizal or not. The Republic Act 646 says we are mandated by law to propagate Rizalism as the Filipino identity. Hindi po siya relihiyon. Siya po ay isang patriotic organization. Iba po yung mga Rizalista. Pero one thing, the innovative approach of our national hero, ito po yung ina-adapt natin na hindi lang po kailangan ng pera. Kailangan natin ng public-private partnership in a very small amount of money. We develop volunteerism. And what the output of Angono is our showcase and sharing it to all members of the Knights of Rizal na kinakailangan we need to follow that works and teachings. And of course, as a Filipino, ipagmalaki natin dahil ito po yung international organization. We have a chapter, 3 chapter in America, in Europe, hanggang Brussels po yan, England, Asia, which is of course, Sir Billy Chan is our World Brothers Commander, the chairman of the Sino Phil Asia International. And the very reason why we are invited here, of course, to share all this innovative approach and recognize their best effort as what Jose Rizal did during his time.
Wow, impressive, Sir Jerry. What to you, sir, is the relevance of this Peace Award, especially with what's happening in our country, in our economy, and how do you think can this be maximized for our advancement?
Well, adapting that best practices, this award is done in their various field is just like Jose Rizal. We need to adapt this thing and do it in a manner we think we will adapt in our community. And that discipline of all these awardee, alam niyo po yung mga taong ito ay galing sa Regis Romero, of course, the former Deputy Premier of China, the Deputy Chairman of the Sino International Philippines. Imagine, worldwide, yung mga awardee rito, may kanya-kanya pong discipline yan. And yung kanyang mga ginawang programa, that innovative approach and best practices is for us, the universal language of understanding that mutual cooperation and respect must be properly observed based on that positive output of their innovative piece na kaya po sila binigyan ng award.
Wow, thank you so much, and we hope that Open for Business can also visit Angono Rizal and see for ourselves what's happening there and how...
With Mayor Jerry May Calderon.
Yes.
And of course the able support of Governor Inares and Congressman Wabit.
On that note, Open for Business will be back. Stay with us.
Westlife's two-night concert in the Philippines, Manila's audience was acknowledged as the loudest. Boy band fans feel nostalgic while singing along at the concert. Presented by Will Bros Live, nostalgic vibes were felt on the second night of Westlife's concert in Manila. The whole venue was filled with cheers, which is why this is known as the loudest crowd of the boy band. Shane Phelan, Mark Feely, Kian Egan, and Nicky Byrne serenade fans who are not only popular with the 90s youth but also with other generations. Westlife performed the song Starlight, Uptown Girl, and When You're Looking Like That as their concert openers. The band performed a medley of ABBA songs including The Dancing Queen. Westlife met with some of its fans at the concert who were brought onto the stage so they could take a selfie with the band. Giovanni, who is notably wearing the same as Westlife member Nicky Byrne, is one of them. Giovanni couldn't believe the interaction he had with Westlife on the second night of its concert. Giovanni says he has been a fan of the boy band for more than 20 years and has been to all of the Westlife concerts in the Philippines. He thanks Westlife for all of the opportunities they have given him. Westlife fans are expecting Westlife to return to the Philippines after the boy band indicated that they will be back soon. I am Jasmine Agustin for Open for Business.
Open for Business is at the helm. IMF and OECD's 2023 forecast. While 2022 did not become the comeback year the world economy wanted, it became a nightmare. Instead, with the record inflation, the Russia-Ukraine war, and more damages caused by natural disasters. However, they say there's more gloom in 2023. In 2022, the world opened up even more. Tourism and economy became more active because many countries eased COVID restrictions, but it did not boost economies. Complicated, isn't it? That's what macroeconomics professor Ruel Bitsema of the University of Amsterdam thinks so too. The Russian invasion of Ukraine in February changed the game for energy and food prices. Countries including the Philippines are now suffering from cost of living pressures because wages are not keeping up with inflation, challenging households with their spending. Pero naniniwala ang International Monetary Fund na lalago ng bahagya ang ekonomiya sa 2023 ng 2.7%, mas mababa ang pagtaya ng OECD sa 2.2%. Closer to home, the government's focus is hastening economic growth through the use of the President's first full-year spending plan. House Speaker Martin Romualdez said it is the most important tool in accomplishing the objectives of the President's agenda for prosperity and his 8-point socio-economic development plan. Filipinos are hoping that the 2023 budget will be spent wisely and effectively to keep companies and enterprises open for business. Our businesses are affected by the conflicts in our environment. Take the Ukraine-Russia issue. It has tipped the scales of demand and supply for basic commodities, which made it difficult for some of our MSMEs to operate their enterprises. The call and action for peace is really something that we should think all about. In fact, we should be part of it by doing what we can to contribute to humanity's betterment. So we tip our hats to the men and women who are doing their best to excel in their fields to achieve peace. If we all do our part, utopia will be a reality. And with that, our quote of the week is, "Peace cannot be kept by force, it can only be achieved by understanding." That's by Albert Einstein. Thank you to all our inspiring guests tonight, and congratulations once again to the laureates of the Sino Philippine Asia International Peace Awards, at maraming salamat sa isa na namang oras na pagsama ninyo sa amin upang tunghayan ang isang makabuluhang usapan ukol sa negosyo dito lang sa Open for Business. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan nyo kaming muli dito sa Open for Business. Catch us too on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe on our social media page at Net25TV. We will bring you more insights from industry experts, thought leaders, CEOs, and featured SMEs. Together, let us help encourage business development in the Philippines, sharpen your business acumen, feel the pulse, and set the trend for as long as you are informed and open for business. Ito po, si Cesar Vallejos. Marami pong salamat.
Best Public Affairs Program. And the star goes to Open for Business Net 25.
It is a signal to the world that we are open for business.
We are now open for business. This is Cesar Vallejos bringing you yet another episode to guide you in discovering your passion and growing your business as we learn from experts in the field. Sama-sama tayong matuto sa isa na namang makabuluhang usapan tungo sa pagpapaunlad ng inyong negosyo. Ang Open for Business ay mapapanood nyo sa Facebook, sa YouTube. Siguraduhin mag-like at mag-subscribe sa aming social media page at Net25 TV. This show was awarded Best Public Affairs Program by the 35th Philippine Movie Press Club Star Awards for Television. Kaya naman ang Open for Business ay mananatiling bukas upang makapagbigay ng mga bagong kaalaman sa pagninegosyo. Alamin natin, suriin mula sa mga negosyante, thought leaders at mga personalidad sa iba't ibang larangan ang mga strategies, trends at mahalagang karanasan sa pagninegosyo dahil tayo ay open for business. It is not all gloom and doom during an economic downturn as certain business opportunities rise despite challenges. Expanding our source of income remains high and being invested may just be the key. In this episode, we will explore the possibility of one food brand that has been in the market for 40 years. Franchising opportunities are still open and may fit what you're looking for as a business venture. We speak with Che Carino, franchising manager of Mr. Donut, to know more about franchising the beloved donut brand. You know that a business is doing well if it has the brand reputation, credibility, and longevity. These are just three of the qualities that Mr. Donut possesses for it to weather the times and the cyclical movement of the economy. With us today is Che Carino, the Senior Franchising Manager of Mr. Donut, and we will discuss the company's strengths and attractiveness as well as the franchise opportunities for entrepreneurs looking for business to venture in. Welcome to Open for Business, Ms. Che Carino.
Thank you, CRV.
Pinag-uusapan natin kanina kung saan na ba yung mga pinanggalingan mo. The food franchise and the food business is one of the most challenging because of heavy competition, correct?
That's correct.
So, nagsimula ka ba talaga sa food business na?
You know, my professional career, it started in retail. My first work is a trainer for SM. And then I worked there for 8 years. After that, I moved on. I became a trainer also in a direct selling company. It's retail also, but it's a different approach because it's direct selling is more on personal selling to the market as opposed to people going to your store and then seeing what they want displayed in the showcases. No? After 3 years in my stint with direct selling, I tried venturing on food naman. So that's when my career with Mr. Donut started. It's 2011. Yeah.
How do you describe your experience with FMCG businesses or that industry? Because, di ba parang sabi nila, ang bilis ng paggalaw. If you don't know the trends in that industry, mahuhuli ka. So how do you describe that experience?
You have to be on your toes with your competitors. Kasi what you're trying to win is the loyalty of your customers. Yung patronage nila doon sa product mo. Especially now or these days, mahirap kuhain yung loyalty nila. Most of the time, it's affiliated with ano yung uso o ano yung trend. I have to be seen there kasi ito yung uso. Yan. So, medyo kailangan flexible and adaptable yung products mo na ino-offer.
Wow, interesting. We are very excited, Che, kasi maraming nanonood dito sa Open for Business. We get a lot of comments where they are looking for opportunities for franchising. And the market offers a lot of products,
That's
di ba?
correct.
Ano, from the moment you wake up to the, before you sleep, the products that you have there can all be franchised nowadays, di ba?
That's correct.
So, with your brand, which has been in the Philippines since the 1980s, so napakatagal na, and it has stood witness to the country's history, both political and economic. So, ano ba yung sikreto ng Mr. Donut? Bakit siya tumagal na ganyan?
As shared with you a while ago, CRV, no? Mr. Donut is celebrating its 40th year in franchising this business here in the Philippines. Tatlo yung sikreto namin. Tatlong grupo ng mga tao. So first is yung consumer namin, no? People have learned to love Mr. Donut, no? Naging trusted and reputable kami because of them. Because of their following, they grew up with the brand. Masasabi ko na yung donut category sa pastries, no, hindi na siya fad. Kaya si Mr. Donut, tumagal siya. Kasi may sariling niche na yung donut industry. Not only for Mr. Donut, with the other players also. Kaya kung mapapansin mo, kahit palit ng palit yung socio and economic climate dito sa Philippines, nandyan pa rin yung donut. Kasi naka-establish na siya. So, it's the customers na tumatangkilik sa amin. The second group of people, yung business partners namin. The franchisees, at saka yung institutional partners namin. So, the franchisees first, no? Without their help, siguro the business will not have grown big since 1983. No? It's our franchisees who help us make the business thrive along. Kasi dito sa Pilipinas, lahat na paborito ata tayo ng kalamidad. So kung hindi bagyo, yung baha, yung bulkan na mga sumasabog, gera, ganyan. But the franchisees are still there. If I may share, yung franchisees namin, no, we have 20% are more than 20 years with Mr. Donut already. Some are nearing 30 years na. So, apart from them, siguro nagtagal kami because of our institutional partners. Mr. Donut stores, you will see a small kiosk sa leading convenience stores, no? Sa mga petroleum shops, no? Bahagi iyan, no, nung reason I think on why Mr. Donut is still in the awareness of the Filipinos. Medyo everywhere kami, kaya hindi siya nawawala sa consciousness.
And what's your third?
The third is the people behind the company, the management team, and then the people working also, no, yung mid-management and even the people who are on the field. Bakit sila kasama doon sa sikreto, no? Kaya kami tumagal? Because they always innovate. They always find ways on how we can survive itong klase ng negosyo na to. Na sabi mo nga, no, CRV, every day may pinapanganak na konsepto na pwedeng maging competitor mo. So, kung hindi nag-i-innovate yung management, no, yung leadership ng Mr. Donut, kung hindi sila nag-iisip, kung hindi may tinatry na bago, then probably baka hindi kami tumagal, no, ng 40 years, no, sa pagpapa-franchise ng business na to.
Wow, very interesting. Those are the three key factors of your longevity and your success na rin. But Ms. Je, I'll go back to the first key, which is you said consumer. Hindi ba, Je, doon sa paningin ng consumer, kunyari, an apple is an apple is an apple, or an orange is an orange is an orange. Hindi ba ganun ang donut? Pare-pareho lang naman na orting bilog yan. We know that people are familiar with the donut, but how do you view the consumer's thinking or awareness of it? Does it have to do also with the kind of branding or marketing that you do to make sure that when people think of donut, it's Mr. Donut?
Well, I think over the years, no, pwede nating ma-attribute din yan dun sa mga tumulong sa amin, no, when it comes to marketing. No? For the longest time, ang isang brand, when you build it, para maging mabilis, of course, you have to be associated with a certain personality, no, or a certain event kung lagi ka nang nila doon na nakikita. Tama ka doon, si RV, no? Ang donuts, pare-pareho, no? But over the years, But if this is your business, you need to learn how to read yung customers mo. So, sino ba yung consumer ni Mr. Donut? And I think that is one of the strengths, no, of the people who are also working behind. We read the profile of our customers. So for example, ang bumibili ba sa atin is more on the male or the female side? Are they young families or are they adults, no? Or are they mature adults na dam? Or are they with kids, no? Tapos, syempre, you do consumer studies. What do you like? Ano yung appealing sa'yo? Ganyan. So even if maraming mga lumabas dyan, unang-una, pipiliin ka because they have grown to love you. No? And then, second, you have to differentiate yourself. We are trying to differentiate ourselves doon sa aming market. No? Yung mga products namin, especially yung favorite na nilang lahat, yung Bavarian. No? Yung Bavarian line, iba yung ano niya, orientation. So, if you're going to see it now, nag-evolve na siya. No? So, from being a coin stock na, for example, if I may hold this, no? Dati ganyan siya. Ngayon, kagaya sa picture, there's a feeling on top. No? So, that's our differentiator sa market namin. So, I guess, yun yung isa. So, kailangan matandaan ka nila kasi merong nagsa-stand out na characteristic yung product mo.
When you entered the market, Mr. Donut used to be the only brand of donut that offered a wide selection of flavors. Ganun nga ba yun? So, lalo na nung panahon na donut na may asukal lang yung mabibili. Kasi, di ba, kahit sa bahay, lagyan mo lang ng sugar, okay na yun. However, other brands entered the market as time passed, some short-lived, while others are still around. With the presence of more competitors, how can you describe the market share?
In our recently conducted internal commissioned survey, no, sa company, kasi we would like to know how does Mr. Donut fare, no? So we commissioned an internal group, no, to study. In terms of consumer market, we're at 17%. Okay. But remember, si Mr. Donut, hindi lang kami a business na nagsisell sa market ng consumer brands. No? Kami din ay nasa franchising business where we offer livelihood. So pag tiningnan mo kami, doon sa aspeto na, okay, nagpapa-franchise kami, sa huling count, no, o sa survey namin, nasa 5,200 plus ang donut stores here in the Philippines. No? And from that count, 3,000 plus doon, Mr. Donut stores. So roughly we can say it's more than 60%, no, ang share namin sa number of stores naman here in the Philippines.
So if you look at that perspective, you are the market leader.
Yeah.
Okay. So but if you look at the consumption,
yeah, we're a contender.
You are a contender.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. I'll go back to that innovation. Kunyari yung Bavarian.
Yeah.
Nilagyan nyo ng kakaiba doon. May feeling siya doon sa taas.
Sa tart-like, yeah.
I know that you mentioned about, coming up with market studies. But what's the science behind that innovation? Kasi marami din maliliit na negosyo na nagtatanong ngayon. Parang bakit ba bumababa yung kita ko? Siyempre, pag bumaba na yung kita mo, anong gagawin mo sa produkto mo? Sabi mo nga kanina, well-loved na ang Bavarian. Pero still, you introduced or you innovated by putting a tart-like change in that specific variant.
Kailangan makilala ka sa dami. Kumbaga, in the sea of the donuts, pag pinagtabi-tabi kayo lahat ng Bavarians, kailangan mag-stand out si Mr. Donut. So, makita ka kaagad. Sa market natin, I think si Mr. Donut, na-own niya yon na siya lang yung Bavarian tart donut na tart type kasi meron siyang feeling sa labas that you can see, meron din siyang feeling sa loob. So, kahit pagtabi-tabihin mo siya, Mr. Donut layon. And then second, over the years, we've learned that yung mga Filipinos, when they look for products, especially in the provinces, gusto nila yung maraming palaman. So, it's something that we need to really inform them na, okay, kahit hindi mo pa siya kagatin, may palaman yan kasi nakikita mo na siya. We eat with our eyes first eh.
Parang busog ka na agad. Ito, magandang follow-up question to. With consumer price index and inflation rate reaching a whopping 8.1% in December 2022 with 5% total for last year. There is no doubt that we're in quite difficult times. How does this affect the pricing of your products? Lalo na sinabi mo, Che, na kailangan mas maraming palaman. Baka gusto nila, parang pandesal din, di ba na
Oozing.
dati ang liit, ngayon parang malaki na. Dapat maraming kulay.
Correct.
Di ba? How are those things impact?
Given that dumaan din tayo sa pandemic, no? And syempre yung effect pa rin, no, nung Ukraine and Russia war, doon nag-start yun yung pagtaas nga ng prices ng flour, and then yung sugar, na syempre affected din kami niyan. No?
Hindi naman kayo gumagamit ng sibuyas?
Hindi.
Okay, sige, good. Okay, go ahead.
In as much as we would like to maintain the pricing, of course, kailangan na naming magtaas. No? We increased our prices last quarter of the year, siguro mga around 6 to 7%. No?
Pero syempre, pag itataas nyo yun, papakiramdaman nyo rin yung market.
Yeah.
So sila ba nagtaas din ba or maintain lang sila?
Lahat ngayon nagtaas na. But what we did with Mr. Donut, 6 to 7% nga na taas. No? Just to, of course, aside from the raw materials, yung paper products, nagtaas na rin yan. It's a domino effect. It's hindi lang naman siya yung
the entire value chain.
Correct. The labor, of course, no? So, what we did, para hindi naman din yung customers would feel, no, na parang, may value pa ba itong binibili ko? We made sure that when we increased the prices of our product, we did not compromise yung quality niya, yung laki. Plump kasi yung donuts namin, tsaka mabigat. And the value that they will get. So, kung kunwari, ito na lang yung pera mo, and gusto mo ng something na nakakabusog, when you purchase the donut, busog ka na talaga. Ayun, yun yung gusto namin, no? Para sa consumers natin. And we offer value boxes din, no? Yung ang tawag namin doon, it's Fun Savers box. That when they buy in bulk or in let's say 6 pieces or more, they will get discounts from it. Yun naman din yung ginagamit din natin na the volume, no? Selling in volume dun sa customers natin.
So it's good kasi may pamamaraan kayo to really target that market. Sino nga ba? Sinabi mo kanina, inaral nyo sino yung market nyo at may mga variants pa kayo. At meron kayong what's this, the value pack?
Fund Savers, yeah.
Fund Savers pack. So, sino ang market nyo?
Si Mr. Donut, ang market niya really on the mass, no? Mass market talaga
kami. Okay, so yon, CDE din talaga.
Yes.
Which is related to this na. Your franchise fee of 250,000 and total investment of about $500,000 and an ROI within the first 2 years seem attractive enough. So, if I'm an OFW, halimbawa, dahil marami din nanonood sa Facebook at YouTube, looking to reintegrate in the Philippines, is it fair to say that this is a great opportunity? Kasi, alam naman natin, Ms. Che, relative din ang pagtingin ng tao sa presyo. And given that price, and like say, if, for example, because you're in charge of franchising, is that a great opportunity? Is that something na if I invest, I will get my ROI na siguradong-sigurado ako, I'll be part of that very reputable Mr. Donut brand?
First, I would like to address yung sa franchising investment in terms of packages. No? So, sa Mr. Donut, since according to what you mentioned, CRV, iba-iba yung pagtingin ng tao when it comes to budget, may price range kami. So, meron kaming as low as 110,000. Meron kaming business trial package, 100,000 yon. 50,000 is refundable. In case after the trial period, you will not continue.
And that business trial is good for how many months?
Maximum of 6 months.
6 months. So, talagang pag feeling mo na, wala na talagang opportunity dito. Either you change your franchise or you maybe try another location.
Yeah.
But you guide them naman in the process?
Yes. Ano kasi siya, we believe that matching din yung business at saka yung business owner. So, bakit kami nag-come up with a business trial program? Maraming mga gusto na magnegosyo na walang experience. Okay. Hindi naman lahat sa kanila nagtatagumpay. So, we would like to give them an opportunity na maranasan yung negosyo ng Mr. Donut for a maximum of 6 months and to see if nagmamatch ba to talaga sa akin before they really invest on a regular package. Na kasi kapag regular package ka na, 3 years na yon. So, for the first 6 months, tingnan mo na. Kasi it's different when you go to a store, tas bibili ka lang eh. So from the consumer standpoint, sometimes we think, ay, dali lang yung patakbuhin. Kasi magdi-deliver yung donuts, i-display. Of course, customer
Parang may kiosk
service.
ka lang doon.
Oo, but it's not. Siyempre may back-end siya. When you are a business owner, hindi pa gising yung manok, gising ka na. Kasi, papasok ba yung tao ko? Paano yung delivery ko? So, those are things that are in your mind, no? Pagbukas na yung tindahan mo, nagtatrabaho ba tong taong to? Marami kayang bumibili. Ganyan. And then, after naman, yung work hours, yung benta ko kaya, magkano?
Tsaka papatulog na yung manok nun. So, ikaw gising na gising ka pa.
Gising ka pa rin.
Diba?
Kasi, Sir CRV, magkano ba yung kinita ko ngayon? Ay, teka, yung inventory, gagawin ko pala siya. So, you need to experience that for 6 months. Siyempre, yung location din. May binabagayan din yung location natin.
Correct.
So, at least, before you shell out a big amount of money, nasubukan mo muna siya. Sa 100,000 namin, no, na business trial package, 50,000 doon refundable.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the security
That's a
deposit.
great thing. Anytime. Tsaka kahit sino. Kumbaga parang may assurance ka na may ibabalik
If and
at
when,
matatry mo.
Yes,
Diba? Ikaw
matatry
mismo.
mo. Yan siya. So, to your question naman po on OFW, no? Si Mr. Donut, meron kami ngayong 9 na OFW na based abroad, pero yung businesses nila nandito sa Philippines. I think this is one of the nice way, no, to reintegrate, lalo na kung you have plans na hindi na ikaw babalik, no, abroad. No, having a business, no, or having a franchise would be a good venture for you. If I may, no, yung isa namin na OFW na franchisee, no, 28 years na siyang nasa abroad. 28 years na rin yung store niya. Meron lang siyang, of course, trusted na deputy. Yung iba relatives, eh, no? So, may nurse pa nga kami based in Dubai. Pero successful yung business niya dito ng Mr. Donut, and they are expanding. So like,
hindi lang isa ang binili. So it could be...
nag-branch out na sila.
So in different areas
yes.
na.
We have seaman. O imagine niyo po yun, no? CRV, nasa gitna ka ng dagat, nagmo-monitor ka. It's because I think it's doable.
Pero meron ba silang pinaka-platform? Like say, is there a dashboard na anywhere they are, o FW ka, meron ka bang access to a specific dashboard to see how your business is doing?
Yun yung maganda sa isang franchise business. May sistema na kasi siya eh. So when a system is built, yung ordering, yung payment, yung monitoring, no, nasa palm na lang yan ng hand mo, no. You monitor through your phone, Viber, yan, madali mo na silang makita, and even the power of technology. Yung mga young ones namin na nagpa-franchise, sila yung leader ng mga CCTV sa store. So kahit nasaan sila, they can see na, okay, ito pala yung ano ko. They tap on technology to help them manage kahit nasaan sila.
The way you explain it, Miss Che, it's so easy. Pero my question is, ito ba kailangan din ba ng skill? Halimbawa, estudyante ka, parang feeling mo, ang dami mong naipon. O kaya, anyone who has, you know, this savings, can they easily get that skill? How would one, you know, apply? How would, as you mentioned, di ba, parang, the reason why there is a business trial period is for you to know if you love the product, because not everybody, you know, would love that food business. Yung ibang na-interview natin dito na maraming beses, beauty business naman. Kasi yun ang passion nila, pagpapaganda. Dito naman, hindi naman siguro kailangang malakas ka kumain ng donut, di ba? But you have to appreciate that food business and food entrepreneurship itself. How easy is it when people would apply for a franchise?
Siguro ang masasabi ko dyan, if you would like to apply, anong skill ba yung kailangan mo? Sabi mo, di ba po? Yung una is you have to have the desire muna. For example, you're going to ask, no, si Mr. Donut, ano ba yung unang kailangan meron? Or for any franchise in general, no, you have to love the product. Especially if it's food or even if it's not food. Kasi remember, when you franchise that business, you will be an ambassador of that. And for you to be a good ambassador, you should be proud, no? To be seen with the product, to use the product, to eat that product, if yun man yun. Now, in terms of skill, siguro yung willingness or desire pa rin, no? To learn. Kasi ano siya eh, ang isang franchise naman sin system siya, ituturo siya sa'yo. Okay? So, ang hindi lang namin maituro is yung, for example, math, di ba? Some
math,
people, naku, ang hirap mag-accounting, di ba? Pero may solusyon na doon kasi may technology naman na siya.
Okay.
Marketing. How do we teach marketing to our senior franchisees? Example, tsaka pictures. So natuturo naman siya. What we need from you if you're applying is you need to be teachable, no? Trainable. Kaya nga nagpapasalamat kami in a way doon sa pandemic kasi people the franchisees ng Mr. Donut was able to learn how to use the online
Exactly, the
platform. Nagkaroon na ng Facebook, marunong na silang mag-online selling, ganyan. They adapted ng mabilis. Isang click lang ng kamay.
They were forced to
by
adapt.
the situation, that's correct.
Part of your success is your visibility in the market with over 3,000 networks of shops. Sabi mo nga, customers have easy access to your products. Pero ito, may room pa ba locally? Kasi parang, baka mamaya pag ako pumasok, parang nagkalat na mga bilog-bilog dyan sa katabi ko, di ba? At saka I think, with the other franchise businesses, they have to also look at the location of the other similar franchisees, tama? Like say for example, within, I don't know, may certain distance, ganyan. Ganun din ba dito? Kasi baka mamaya, di ba, siguro naman kahit hanggang ngayon, location pa rin. Pero, di ba, somehow, yung pandemic, binago niya rin yun, hindi ba? Ang sabi ng pandemic, dati, kapag nasa loob ka ng mall, sikat ka, di ba? Nasa prime space ka. And nagka-pandemic, lahat lumabas. Dapat delivery lang. Dapat hindi na papasok. Di ba? So, meron pa bang lugar para sa mga gustong magnegosyo?
Okay. CRV, di ba sabi mo, Mr. Donut, well, we're over 3,000, no? So, to answer your question, may lugar pa ba? Meron. Kasi, di ba 7,000 plus naman yung isla ng Pilipinas?
Yun.
So, wala pa kayo sa kalahati.
Saka mawawalan ka na ng trabaho kung wala pang lugar.
Marami pa.
Okay.
No? So, with the 7,000 islands, ilan ang barangay niya? Nasa 40,000. No? Well, 1,400 plus yung ating municipality. And one city or one municipality, it can host or it can have several Mr. Donut stores. No? So to answer yung question mo, paano yun? Like for example, sa Quezon City, meron ng Mr. Donut dyan, ilang kilometers yan. And paano yung mga franchisees namin? No? Siguro yung isang laging iniisip ng management no, ng Mr. Donut no, is when we sign you up sa franchise na ito, there is this moral obligation in us to ensure na magpo-flourish ka dito. So, when you enter sa amin, no, na franchisee, yung maa-assign sa'yo na business operations person, ima-map out niya yung growth area mo. Okay, dito ka sa Central Avenue, for example, ano yung near sa'yo? Tandansora, you can build there, UP, Pilcoa, North EDSA. So, alam mo na kung saan ka pwede maglagay. Now, in the event that you're not yet ready, but a market is ready, halimbawa may nag-apply sa UP, sa loob, no, for example, or dyan sa Philcoret and Dansora, of course, we will tell you na, there is an opportunity for Mr. Donut here. Are you ready? Because if you're ready, would you like to apply before we approve this applicant? Kasi syempre, no, we need to protect din the market ng Mr. Donut. Because if it's not Mr. Donut who's going to be there, it may be another competitor. No? And we need to protect our market.
On the consumer perspective, halimbawa ako, gusto ko ng donut. Ano ang kakaiba sa donut ng Mr. Donut? I know that you have market positioning, but what is there in the Mr. Donut brand as far as consumer perspective is? And the other question is, on the business perspective, you mentioned a lot of good things about franchising opportunities, but what is it that Mr. Donut offers that other franchise models cannot?
Food ito food business, di ba? maraming pwedeng mag-offer din ng food. Uso yan eh. So bakit ba food yung gusto nila? Kasi sabi nila, essential yung pagkain. No? That's correct. No? Because people will always eat. But you know, CRV, what did we observe over time? No? Sa consumer behavior in terms of the food. No? Yung functional benefit ng food, lumalabas na siya ngayon. So when I say functional benefit, I'm going to give examples based on sa amin, no, sa Mr. Donut. Bakit sinabi nating functional? Number one, food has become a reward. May maganda kang nagawa o ito yung incentive mo, food. And people are happy. Bigyan mo lang sila ng 1,000 gift check sa isang restaurant, ang saya na nila kasi kakain sila. Another functional benefit of food, it's a joy giver. It's a treat. You give on special occasions, you give kapag kunwari, gusto mo lang i-surprise. Okay. Mr. Donut is your constant companion, no? Or food, you know. In general, it's your constant companion that brings comfort to you. Di ba pag nalulungkot ka, nung kakain ako, kasi sad ako, to make me happy, no? And si Mr. Donut, or I mean, the food in general, ano siya eh, it has been there in your ups and downs, no? When you celebrate. That's why in this business ng food, no, hindi na uubos yung opportunity for you to sell. Kasi may functional benefit na siya. To sell, to grow your business, at saka to increase your revenue. So for example, reward, gumawa ka ng isang bundle, gawa ka ng certificate or group package. That's an example of a reward, di ba? Kapag ka, for example, special occasions like New Year, yan, no? So, merong family. So, meron kang family bundle. So, marami siyang okasyon. Growth opportunity online. Ngayon, lumaki yung market ng OFW siya, based in US. Kukontak ka lang ng isang store dito, ipapadala nila yung product like si donuts, no? Doon sa kamag-anak nila. So yun yung mga nakikita natin na difference ng mga before pandemic na brick and mortar lang sila. Na ngayon na ano na tayo, totally the new norm, no, of doing business dito.
Wow, that's a lot to digest, but it is something that easily digested because how you explained it, and this is a very amazing opportunity. It's an inspiring opportunity also to give information to small businesses, entrepreneurs, especially those members of the Filipino communities in different parts of the world, to look at opportunities for them to create their businesses. Ngayon, I think that is your camera, Mrs. Che. If you can also invite investors or mothers or students or anyone, saan kanila mahahanap, saan kanila matatawagan, or saan sila makakakuha ng impormasyon para sa lahat ng mga gustong magnegosyo at magtayo ng Mr. Donut franchise ay malalaman nila.
Thank you, CRV. So aside from our viewers who are looking for a business or an investment, I would like to invite you also, CRV, and your team here, no, to look at the franchise offer or the business that we offer. You can email fms@mrdonut.ph should you have an inquiry on the different packages that we offer. Mr. Donut, on its 40th year, no, we still continue to commit and we take pride, no, because the Mr. Donut business is not only a brand that brings food to the consumers or products, but we are also proud, no, because we have been part of the business circle here in the Philippines, which gives livelihood to the Filipinos. Sa mga first-timers, no, even sa mga employees, no, kasi marami din kaming franchisees na employees pa rin eh. But they are able to manage yung negosyo nila. Sa mga gusto pong sumubok, mayroong business trial program ang Mr. Donut. Sabi nga nila, hindi mo malalaman kung magtatagumpay ka kung hindi mo susubukan. So we would like to invite you. Just send us an email if you would like an online presentation. No, we can schedule it for you.
Wow! Cheryl Carino, maraming salamat.
Thank you,
pero
CRV.
katulad ng ibang mga nagtatanong, bakit Mr. Donut? Bakit hindi Miss Donut o kaya Mrs. Donut?
It came from Boston, Massachusetts. It was 1955 when Mr. Donut was first introduced. No,
So
to the
originally,
market.
it's an American brand.
Yes, it's an American brand. It was born in Boston, 1955, until it was bought by a Japanese company, Duskin Company Limited, which is our franchisor. No, that is based in Osaka, Japan. Duskin Company brought Mr. Donut here in the Philippines, 1982. But the store during that time is company owned. And then 1983, the company felt that it's ready. People can already take part of the business of Mr. Donut. So
But the Mr. Donut brand is patented or franchised or registered and owned by a Filipino.
No, it's owned by Duskin Company Limited, the franchise license. But
I
here in the
see.
Philippines, the Ramcar Food Group holds the master license so that we can also offer it to Filipinos.
Ano, Miss Che, ang kadalasan na challenges naman ng mga franchisees para at least kapag alam nila kung paano harapin yung problema. Kasi baka yung problema naman, I'm sure, nasa manual nyo na yan. What are the most common challenges and the solutions franchisees should address when they are involved in any franchise business model?
Siguro yung sustaining. I'll give you one, yung sustaining their sales. When you open a store, first 2 months, first 3 months, okay yan. Papatok yan kasi bagong bukas we call that novelty period. But after that, yung sustaining it, I think that's the bigger challenge, continuously na every entrepreneur faced. How will you make sure that after X number of months, nandiyan ka pa rin? So, kailangan mag-grow ka through marketing and through PR. So, yun yung isa sa mga tinuturo namin, or kino-coach namin yung mga franchisees namin. And, syempre, sila kasi sa front end From the back end naman, the company assisting them should always try to innovate. Sabi ko nga with Mr. Donut, kami morally obligated kami sa kanila to ensure that their business will not parang fall down and for them to always have products to sell na patok sa market. So sa amin, kami in charge kami on the product development, innovation, nationwide marketing. Yan yung mga tinutulungan namin sila. Local marketing sa franchise yan kasi sila yung mas nandun na sa area. Pero on their own, they will know how to at least ensure na yung franchise nila, it's a legacy that they can pass on. And marami na kami ngayon, second generation, third generation na franchisees.
Wow, that's very interesting. Bigyan natin ng pagkakataon si Miss Cheryl Carino na makabalik. Kaya huwag na muna nating ituloy ang marami pang mga tanong at sigurado ako maraming mga nanonood na OFWs at mga gustong magnegosyo. Thank you, Miss Che, for sharing your insights. Some do not necessarily share their trade secrets, but you are very transparent, and I think that is the thing to do, so that potential investors or businessmen, can really involve in these projects whenever they decide to put up their business here in the Philippines. Thank you so much. That is very inspiring. We heard a lot of great insights and a lot of information from Ms. Cheryl Carino, the Senior Franchising Manager of Mr. Donut. Open for Business. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Open for Business, and now for our business news. Think Tank sees Philippine economy slowing down in 2023. Fitch Solutions projects a 5.9% growth forecast for the Philippines in 2023. As household expansion seen last year may not be sustained, the think tank said in its latest outlook report. According to Fitch Solutions, high inflation alongside continued and significant monetary tightening is also likely to weigh on domestic economic activity in the coming quarters. Women use smartphones more in 2022. Women in the Philippines use their smartphones the most as communications devices, according to a new survey by the Philippine Statistics Authority and the Department of Information Communications Technology. The Women in ICT Department Index survey showed more than 84% of women and girls aged 15 and above out of 26. 719 households surveyed mainly used their smartphones for information communications technology devices last year. Economic managers see this as a positive sign, noting that digitalization will be easier for MSMEs and other businesses relying on online sourcing and/or payments. Japan's passport remains to be the most powerful in the world in 2023. Japan continues to have the most powerful passport in 2023, holding the spot for 5 years in a row according to the Henley Passport Index as reported by the World Economic Forum. Coming to a tie in second place are South Korea and Singapore. The Passport Index ranks all of the world's passports by the number of destinations their holders can access without needing a visa in advance. The data is combined with the World Bank GDP figures to create the Henley Passport Power Score, which also underlines the widening economic inequality between countries. The Philippine passport is ranked number 76 out of 108 and can access 67 countries without a prior visa in advance. The report also noted that passports are more than just travel documents, but also dictate to a large extent the opportunities available to its holders, the freedoms that can be enjoyed, and the caliber of options within their reach. I am Jasmine Agustin reporting for Open for Business.
Welcome to the Omnibus Museum.
Do you still dream about interacting with your childhood superheroes or favorite characters? What if there's a place you can be with them? Yes, that's possible here at Glorietta's Glo Japantown at the newly opened Omniverse Museum. Unleash the inner child in you in the massive 3,500 square meter space as you interact with the immersive pop culture collection of Mr. Ryan Season. The museum is complete with life-size memorabilia, one-of-a-kind pieces, 20 portals, and more. You also get to pick your scientific curiosity with educational activities as you discover the science behind the fiction. Let's head in and find out more about the Omniverse Museum.
It's so impressive, and we wonder how much this collection is.
It's hard to put a price on it din kasi dahil some of these have become priceless na eh. Sabihin na natin conservatively, nasa 800
million pesos. Nice.
Conservatively.
And where are these collections sourced po?
All over the world.
Countries?
All over the world. All over the world. So when I started my career collecting, during that time, it was eBay. May mga private auctions din. During that time, wala pang social media. So there's forums. So I acquired from fellow collectors. Aside from that, there are suppliers naman here. So there's a Maxi Collector, there's Fully Book. I got it from them. And Green Hills, there's a lot of stores in Green Hills. Most people call them toys. I mean, they may be based on pop culture, but the proper term, I guess, is pop culture memorabilia. And the thing with these, they're in boxes. You can open them and display them and put them back. Unlike toys, with they're carded. When you open it, the value goes down. The thing is though, you have to keep the boxes. I'm a fan of pop culture in general kasi. So I pretty much collected any genre. I'm a fan of everything almost. It can play as an inspiration. It's a hobby for one, especially during the pandemic. During the pandemic kasi, it's when the collecting really boomed. Everyone was stuck at home and everyone started collecting. Doon pala nakita mo na yung impact.
Philippine Amusement and Entertainment Corporation, we have a partnership with Ryan Season as a collector because Ryan dreams to have his own toy museum, a pop culture museum. So, as the biggest amusement operator here in the Philippines, we work hand in hand with him. And then we curated this one. And then this is it, dream come true. So we specialize also in terms of the operation of the business, curation, and building a museum. The collaboration, it's about helping the students to understand the STEM system, which is the science, technology, engineering, and math. Because a lot of students right now, they don't want to read books already. And then right now, we're implying the fictions and science, how they integrated together, and this is it. So there's a science, and then there's a toy.
Speaking for myself, it makes me happy, seeing my pop culture collections. As for the museum, the relevance, well, since we married pop culture and science together, the advocacy is born to educate and just to give more meaning to pop culture. Because all pop culture, especially movies, actually all pop culture are based on facts. Science, technology, mathematics, engineering. And that's the most relevant thing that I could think of for this museum, the advocacy of educating, disseminating information. I'm a big fan of Batman and Iron Man. Yeah, so those two. Yeah, that's it. This is my excuse to add more stuff to my collection. So yeah, it's my playground. So yeah, aside from adding stuff to my collection, which makes me happy, another thing that makes me more happy is when I share it with my family and friends. I find greater joy in that. I had so much fun building this and conceptualizing it. And the formula, to be honest, is a really good advocacy. It coincided with my 40th birthday, which I celebrated last weekend. And this is my passion advocacy project. And I want to continue it and I want to expand it. Hi everyone, it's Ryan Season. I'm the collector and the hobbyist of the Omniverse Museum. We finally open our doors March 8th and I invite everyone. There's a little bit of something for fandom, learners, and hardcore collectors. So please come. Thank you.
Omniverse Museum, you are definitely a feast for the eyes. I am Jasmine Agustin for Open for Business.
For Business is back, and the biz word of the week is turnkey. Turnkey is a business that is ready to use, existing in a condition that allows for immediate operation. Mr. Donut has baked the right ingredients to be a successful brand, knowing the local pulse, history, diversity in product offerings, visibility, and reputation. Its franchising offer is sweet enough to entice you to consider the business, especially glazed with a good ROI. As an entrepreneur, do business with a partner that has proven itself in the market against all odds and is strong enough to continue doing so. And with that, our quote of the week is from the Irish writer and poet Oscar Wilde. He said, "The optimist sees the donut, the pessimist sees the hole." Thank you, Miss Sec Carino, at maraming salamat sa isang oras na pagsama sa amin upang tunghayan ang isang makabuluhang usapan ukol sa negosyo dito lang sa Open for Business. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan nyo kaming muli dito sa Open for Business. Catch us too on Facebook, YouTube, like and subscribe on our social media page at Net25TV. We will bring you more insights from industry experts, thought leaders, CEOs, and featured SMEs. Together, let us help encourage business development in the Philippines. Sharpen your business acumen, feel the pulse, and set the trend for as long as you are informed and open for business. Ito po si Cesar Vallejos. Marami pong salamat.
Best Public Affairs Program. And the star goes to Open for Business Net 25.
It is a signal to the world that we are open for business.
Open for Business is in Japan! Konnichiwa, Japan! I am now about to cross the infamous Shibuya crossing, and Japan is famous for its technology, anime, manga, arts, culture, and tourism. The land of the rising sun is also home to over 290,000 Filipinos. Our trade and economic ties with Japan are getting rosier than ever as we celebrate 50 years of ASEAN friendship and cooperation. These two nations have a long history of cultural and economic exchange, and over the years, their relationship has grown to encompass a wide range of areas from trade and investment to political cooperation. In this episode, we will be discussing this relationship. We'll hear it from Mr. Robespierre Bolivar, the Deputy Chief of Mission of the Philippine Embassy in Japan, on the economy and politics of both nations to gain a better understanding of how the relationship has evolved over time. We'll also talk to Filipinos living in Japan to learn more about their experiences and be inspired with their success in business. Gundam is the giant robot anime franchise in Japan, a very popular culture icon here. In 40 years, reports say that the franchise had grossed more than $20 billion in retail sales. Saan tayo, James?
Pupunta po tayo ng Shiodome Station po.
Behind me is the iconic Tokyo Tower here at Roppongi. Normally, pag mga holidays daw, this street is very exclusive. They're not allowing cars because there's a lot of human traffic, especially this is one of the places where a lot of the people, a lot of Japanese congregate during special events, and they close the roads, for these special events, leading to that iconic Tokyo Tower. Open for Business is here at the Philippine Embassy in Japan. Japan and the Philippines seem to be worlds apart, separated by geography, language, and culture. However, their relationship runs deep, shaped by decades of history and shared experiences. We are going to speak with the Deputy Chief of Mission, Mr. Robespierre L. Bolivar, as we seek to better understand the Philippines' relationship with Japan and how we can further flourish the same. Kumusta po kayo, sir?
Mabuti naman po at mabuti na pagbisita kayo sa amin.
And off-cam, sir, you were telling me that this has been your 5th year in Japan.
In Japan.
So far po, with your stay here, what definitely will you miss aside from the very best sushi and all the Japanese food here in Japan?
Japan is very peaceful, it's very quiet, it's very safe. We always tell our visitors that even if you walk outside at 2, 3 a.m., you feel so secure. Even in mga construction areas, look so clean, look so orderly. So that's something that will really stay with you, no matter where you are.
Is that part of their culture or tradition? Where do you think is that discipline coming from?
I think primarily yung Zen, yung Zen culture nila, no? Which we have imported, which other countries have imported as well, because the country has been challenged by so many natural disasters, earthquakes and typhoons, etc. I think they thought it was incumbent upon them to make their movements more predictable. Kaya that's one of the sources of the discipline, is that anything can happen at any time, so we have to all work together as a community to make sure that everybody's safe, to make sure that our society can go on even after. I mean, you can imagine 2011 during the Fukushima incident. In a few days, almost literally in a few days, the society was back up and running and trying to recover from the devastating effects of the earthquake and the tsunami. So I don't know if you can see that anywhere else in the world except Japan.
We almost, encounter the same calamities and disasters. But what do you think, sir, are the areas specifically in the diplomatic relationship between the Philippines and Japan where there is a very strong connection?
It's good you mentioned that because as our viewers know, the President was just here about 2 weeks ago. One of the documents that were signed was a terms of reference on humanitarian assistance and disaster relief cooperation. So we have been cooperating with Japan on a number of issues related to disaster risk reduction and climate change mitigation, etc. With these terms of reference, we want to move it forward, strengthen the cooperation, as it were. We still have a lot of things that we need to do. We have a lot of things we can learn from Japan on earthquake response. They have a lot of things to learn from us in terms of volcanic eruptions. Our experience in Pinatubo was hailed around the world as one of the best practices that countries can learn from in terms of managing the fallout of a volcanic eruption. So marami rin sila dito in Japan. They can also learn from us in terms of typhoon mitigation.
Marami tayo.
And over the past 5 years that I've been posted here, I've noticed also an increase in the intensity of the typhoons that visit Japan. And that's something that we can impart to them. So it's a two-way street. We can both learn from each other. We can strengthen our cooperation, government to government. In terms of yung pandemic, for instance, Japan is setting up or has set up some sort of parang CDC, Centers for Disease Control, that is similar to the United States. And that's something I think that we also want to set up in the Philippines, so we can collaborate on that. We have disaster relief experts from the Philippines visiting Japan on study tours especially prior to the pandemic, because marami tayong kailangang matutunan in terms of not just disaster relief reduction, but also in terms of reconstruction, in terms of building back better, build safer communities so that if and when natural disasters strike, we mitigate the impact on the economy and we lessen the number of casualties.
With the visit po of the President, you mentioned that there are MOUs already. But minsan, sir, ang nagkukulang tayo doon sa larangan ng teknolohiya. They may be fast because they have the resources and they have the technology for that. Is that also part, sir, of the discussions on this resources, technology exchange? Are there concrete action plans or proposals in terms of investments for technology and anything related to disasters?
Yes, we do have government-to-government interactions in terms of science, technology, and innovation. Yes, particularly with regard to exchanging best practices on disaster relief and disaster risk reduction. Among the issues that we discuss when our experts are here or when their experts are in the Philippines is how to impart the technology and the know-how to mitigate risk during disasters. As a concrete example, one of the things that we're starting now is cooperation in space technology. We have launched, I think, 3 or 4 Philippine-made microsatellites using Japanese rockets.
Wow.
So they're now in orbit. Part of that is learning. First, syempre, we have a nascent space industry. It's very new. Philippine Space Agency has been around only for a couple of years. We are trying to learn from the more experienced Japanese space agency. And part of that is learning how to launch satellites and keep them in orbit. And the ultimate goal of that is so that we can have our own functioning satellites, which we can use for remote sensing, for not only for disaster risk reduction and urban planning, but also for irrigation, for climate change mitigation. So it's a whole spectrum of applications that are space-based that we are now trying to work with the Japanese.
When the economy was opened, somehow, there's lesser restrictions already, and with one of the activities, Let's Net Together, which was supported by the Filipino community, we see the vibrant number of Filipino communities and individuals attending that. In terms of the policy of the Japanese government po in opening the economy, what are those, and are there still somehow limitations or restrictions as far as the pandemic or COVID-19 is concerned?
What we have observed here is, of course, like any country, they want to open up the economy as quickly as possible because we have lost so much during the last 2 years of the pandemic. But they want to do so in a responsible way. Japan, for the last, decade or so, has been relying also on income derived from tourism to shore up their foreign exchange reserves. At any given point, prior to the pandemic, you saw millions of tourists coming to Japan. And if you can imagine the impact it has on the economy, when you remove the income you get from those tourists, how many businesses are affected, how many employees either lose or get distributed. So now that the pandemic is easing, you see Japan carefully in a calibrated fashion, but also trying to open up the economy to tourism as soon as possible.
Pero ano po yung main contributor ng GDP nila?
I think it's still manufacturing, industrial output.
Correct.
So kaya.
Pero yung tourism po?
Yung tourism is very significant. I think in most countries after the pandemic, they probably want to make sure that hindi sila beholden to one particular industry. At the same time, that tourism is sustainable. We saw this in Europe because I was posted in Europe before. We saw this even prior to the pandemic. yung impact naman ng tourism on the local communities, on the tourism sites themselves, di ba? Yung parang sa sobrang dami ng tao, nasisira yung beauty ng tourists, yung tourism sites, ganyan. So they want pinauso yung sustainable tourism. So I think Japan is also thinking along the same lines post-pandemic.
They call you nanay, ma'am, but you look very young. Like, matagal na po ba kayong nanay ang tawag ko sa inyo dito sa New Nanays?
Yes, everybody calls me nanay. Yung mga bata, pantawag na sa akin, mami.
Ilang taon na po kayo dito?
Sa Japan, so almost 30 years.
Paano po kayo nagsimula?
Actually, I have a translation office, a consultation office dito sa mismo sa lugar na to. Eh walang nakakainan ng mga Pilipino dito during that time. So naisipan ko na may na-open na counter type lang na space. So that was 6-seaters. Doon kami nag-umpisa sa 6-seaters.
So mas nauna yung translation business ninyo kaysa sa restaurant business?
Yes, 2002 I have my translation office. Hanggang ngayon, nandiyan pa rin yung opisina.
Ano ang mas magandang business? Yung bang translation o itong restaurant business?
Maganda ang translation kasi sarili mo lang yung mundo mo. Dito naman sa restaurant, maganda rin kasi everyday iba-ibang nakikita mo mga tao. Yung mga hindi ko namimit na tao, lahat namimit ko dito.
Nanay, galing kasi kami sa Philippine Embassy at sabi nga nila, halos madadaanan itong lugar ninyo, di po ba, pag pumunta? So, how is it working or doing business that's very near the Philippine Embassy? I think parang hindi ba parang halatang advantageous yon para sa inyo dahil maraming nakakabisitang Pilipino.
I must admit that's true kasi during sa lunchtime, talagang yung mga customer na galing sa embassy, yan ang target ko. Talagang silang kumakain dito. So basically, mga galing talaga sa probinsya, so they wanted to eat some Philippine food. So that's why inisip ko na mag-ano ng restaurant dito.
Okay. Ma'am, alam po natin na mahirap din ang pagtatayo ng negosyo. I'm sure pinagdaanan nyo rin yung mga challenges. At hindi lang sa Pilipinas ang mahirap magtayo ng negosyo. As a matter of fact, di ba nung pandemic, marami na pong nagsara. Pero kayo, hindi lang kayo sa Pilipinas nagtayo, dito sa ibang bansa pa. At dito pa namin kayo sa Japan nakilala. Ano po ba yung mga challenges ng pagtatayo ng negosyo sa ibang bansa katulad ng Japan?
Unang-una, palagay ko, ang naging malaking challenges sa amin, hindi kilala ang Philippine food. So, really? Isa yun sa talagang napakataas na hurdle na inano namin para makilala ang Philippine food.
Kasi pag sinabi mong Japanese food, kilala sa buong mundo, di ba? Hindi katulad maybe sa Filipino food, minsan ang ayaw pa nilang kainin yung balot natin. Pero di ba? Pero sumisikat na rin naman yung ating adobo, di ba? So, paano po yung ginawa ninyo para makilala naman ang Filipino food?
Ang naging plus factor sa akin, nang naglagay ako ng Japanese na cook.
I see.
Japanese siya na siya nagluluto ng Philippine food. Kasi ang mga Japanese, parang pagpasok nila sa restaurant, wala silang nakitang hapon. Parang pupunta nga sila pero parang aloof pa sila na parang hindi nila ito lugar. So pag kami nakita sila na may Japanese dito, pati nagsiserve Japanese. So medyo na sila, komportable na sila.
Naging kampante sila dahil doon. So, pero matagal na ba yung Japanese na cook or Japanese chef po ninyo sa inyo? O pa-iba-iba kayo?
No, yung Japanese cook ko is actually husband ng anak ko. So, 10 years na siya sa akin.
Yan, mga kaibigan, mga nanonood ng Open for Business, that's the basic insight here. The insight is for you to establish a business, you have to at least know the market but be the market, di ba?
Yes, yes.
So, ibig sabihin, kailangan you have to involve somebody who's very familiar with the market, the people, and the culture.
Yes, opo.
Yeah, so, nung natapos nyo po yun, doon nyo na naramdaman na parang gumanda ang
Gumanda kami, lalo na yung sa gabi namin. Ngayon, ang gabi ko, 85% ng customers namin are Japanese na. Sa araw, 95% Filipinos. Sa gabi naman, talagang puro Japanese kami. Masasabi ko lang kung sino man po ang may gustong na mag-put up ng negosyo, kailangan lang po talaga ang tiyaga. Hindi siya pa makukuha po ng 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. Ako, ang tagal ko rin po bago ko na-establish ang sarili ko. Talagang kailangan lang po ang tiyaga.
Open for Business will be back. Stay tuned. Open for Business is back, and this time we are in Akihabara. For people who love technology, gadgets from cameras, cell phones, any electronic devices, Akihabara is the place to be if you are in Japan. Dito makikita yung good quality products at affordable prices. And if you are into any of the many devices and you are looking for a place where everything is there, Akihabara or Akiba is a must visit here in Japan. Open for Business is here in Japan, and we will be speaking not with the Prince of R&B, but the King of Philippine R&B, JR.
Hey! What's up? Thank you for having me.
Yes, we know you as the King of R&B, but there is another side that we don't know. So basically, you're also an entrepreneur. So can you give us that background, how you went into entrepreneurship?
Me, of course, I'm a singer. That's my number one. And, I'm getting pretty old now. And I mean, even when I was a young singer, I knew I was going to get old and I can't be singing for the entire time. I can't be flying to Japan or flying to Canada. It's going to take a toll on my body. So I realized na kailangan ko talagang gumawa ng passive income with businesses. My first instinct was convenience store. A 24-hour convenience store.
Really? Where? Is that in the Philippines?
It's the Philippines. I did a mini stop. It was in San Juan. Pero the thing with that is, I'm a singer. I couldn't be there and manage it. So medyo nag-fail ako dun. But the good thing about failing in business is you get to know where your strengths and your weaknesses are. So after I failed in that venture, naisip ko na parang mas pumasok ako sa mas madali because a convenience store has hundreds of items and you have to take inventory, you have to do all of this. So ang dami, and although it was very lucrative, we were making a lot per day. Yun lang, I couldn't manage it properly kasi of course for any business you have to be present naman. So naisip ko I would have to come up with a business that probably sells only one item and an item that everyone needs. So what I went into is tubigan.
Wow.
Everyone needs water.
Exactly.
And it's only one item, so there's not so much inventory. So I opened up a spot. It's called Too Big. Toobig. It's too big. Yun. And now it's in E. Rodriguez. You can find it there. And we're doing pretty well. We've been up for about 7 years now. And
wow. But you don't have plans of expanding it? Like how many? You said there's only one store for now.
There's only one store for now.
But do you have plans of putting more?
Absolutely. I have more plans on putting up more. Right now, I'm going back and forth from LA to Manila. Kaya medyo slow lang yung pag-expand namin. But most definitely in the future, we're definitely gonna expand. But, syempre, me as a musician, na-realize ko din if I'm gonna get into business, it should be into something that I really know, that I'm really passionate about. So, even before the Tubigan, I started my record label, which is called Homeworks. And we have myself there. We have my wife Mika Javier. We have Chris Lawrence. We have Jaya's daughter Sabria. She's very talented. So yun ang ginagawa namin. We produce music videos, produce concerts under homeworks, which is another aspect of my entrepreneurship. But not only that, also have real estate. Have a couple condos and some land. We rent out to people. So I'm trying to create this passive income so I can live my life going back to Manila, going back to LA. Because in LA, if you don't know, it's super inflated. Everything is so expensive, right? But my family is there, so I want to stay there, be close sa pamilya, my dad, my mom. Kaya yun, mas maganda na to really become business-minded, to create your own wealth. And that's what I'm doing now. I feel like I still have a long ways to go, but the important thing is that I started it now. I have a vision, I have a passion for it, and I just continue doing it.
There are also comments on the longevity factor, like say when they say that your type of music, R&B, is also something that would always be there. So, and with the brand that you have established with your name, so far artists come and go, but here you are, and people are very familiar with your type of music. What's your comment on that?
Well, I think my comment is persistence lang talaga. I see a lot of artists na they do very well in the beginning, but later on they start to fall off. And my evaluation with that is kulang sa persistence lang talaga. Let's use me as an example. My biggest hit is Bakit Pa Ba? And it's not so R&B, it's more of a ballad, more of a slow song, heartbreak song. The only R&B in is the way I sing it, but the genre of it, it's more ballad. And that song was 20 years ago. And since then, I've been making songs trying to beat Bakit Pa Ba? And it's so hard. And I think that's the problem with artists, is that they get very discouraged na parang, syempre yung biggest hit ko, hindi ko matabunan, parang laos na ba ako, or ganito. So I feel like it's really persistence. They really have to keep going for their passion, really strategize on what kind of sound you have to really get into. It's very important talaga to stay on your path and don't get jaded by everyone else's success and whoever else is doing well. Parang you just focus on yourself, and just really elevate and keep building with that.
What's your thought on the impact of social media on you being a musician and an artist?
To be honest, I love the era now in music with the social media platforms. It levels the playing field for everybody. You don't have to be the big Beyonce.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a Stevie Wonder, diba, na parang to put out music. Now, anyone can put out music, like you said. That's what's important. The platforms is what catapults the song. And now there's many platforms, especially TikTok. TikTok is definitely the platform. Dati TV, radio. And that's what I like about it. It is a competition. And the good thing about competition is everyone just elevates. Everyone keeps getting better and better. Kasi, if someone wants to be like a JR, and I've seen so many now that sing better than me, that can write better songs, and that inspires me to educate myself more, to write better songs, to be a better singer. Kaya I invite the competition. I really like that, and it's a very good avenue for the new artists to come up, and I would want them to be as aggressive as I was. I would want them to get into the platforms and become big, because that's good for me also. I just want to give a big shout out to Net25. Thank you so much for having me here in Japan for Let's Net Together. I had so much fun. Everyone was really, really nice. The crowd was amazing. But I just want to say to all those aspiring artists out there that are trying to come up, don't stop. Keep the passion going. Persistence is key. Originality and authenticity is key. So keep up the good work. I want you to be my competition, okay? So let's go. Going hard, going strong. Let's go.
Open for Business. We'll be back. Stay tuned. As clear as the rising sun, the relationship between Japan and the Philippines is one that is built on a strong foundation of trust, respect, and cooperation. To foster this relationship further, it is important that both nations continue to work together to address the challenges faced by Filipinos in Japan and to create more opportunities for economic growth and development. We continue to hope that business and cultural exchange brought by actual cultural promotions and from two-way tourism and the role it plays in building bridges continue to strengthen and bring both Japan and the Philippines closer together. And with that, we'd like to thank our guests for their valuable insights and you, our audience, for joining us here in Japan. We hope that tonight's discussion has shed some light on the relationship between Japan and the Philippines and the ways in which it can be further strengthened in the years to come. And our buzzword of the week is Kaizen. Kaizen is a Japanese term meaning change for the better or continuous improvement. It is a Japanese business philosophy that concerns the processes that continuously improve operations and involve all employees. And with that, our quote of the week is from the former Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe. He said, "It is necessary to create hope for tomorrow for farmers and businesses." Domo arigato, Japan! Maraming salamat sa isa na namang oras na pagsama ninyo sa amin upang tunghayan ang isang makabuluhang usapan ukol sa negosyo dito lang sa Open for Business. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan nyo kaming muli dito sa Open for Business. Catch us too on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe on our social media page at Net25TV. We will bring you more insights from industry experts, thought leaders, CEOs, and featured SMEs. Together, let us help encourage business development in the Philippines. Sharpen your business acumen, feel the pulse, and set the trend for as long as you are informed and open for business. Ito po si Cesar Vallejos. Marami pong salamat.
Best Public Affairs Program. And the star goes to Open for Business Net 25.
It is a signal to the world that we are open for business.
We are now open for business. This is Cesar Vallejos bringing you yet another episode to guide you in discovering your passion and growing your business as we learn from experts in the field. Sama-sama tayong matuto sa isa na namang makabuluhang usapan tungo sa pagpapaunlad ng inyong negosyo. Ang Open for Business ay mapapanood nyo rin sa Facebook, sa YouTube. Siguraduhin mag-like at mag-subscribe sa aming social media page at Net25TV. Ating alamin, suriin mula sa mga negosyante, mga thought leaders, at mga personalidad sa iba't ibang larangan ang mga strategies, trends at mahalagang karanasan sa pagninegosyo dahil tayo ay open for business. With the rising population coupled with the impact of the pandemic and global economic challenges, poverty remains to be a pressing issue in the Philippines. Ngunit kahit napakalaki ng suliranin sa kahirapan, may mga grupong gumagawa ng paraan para ito ay maibsan. Isa na dyan ang non-profit organization na UNLAD International na isang dekada nang nagtuturo at nagbibigay ng kabuhayan at pag-asa sa ating mga kababayan. Its 10-year journey has been marked by incredible achievements, and in today's episode, we celebrate UNLAD International's successes, reflect on its experiences, and look ahead to the future with optimism and determination. Stay tuned as Ms. Tru Santos Matias, the chairperson of UNLAD International, gives us a glimpse of the organization's remarkable achievements. Over the past decade, the Unified Livelihood and Advocacy for Development, or UNLAD International, a non-profit organization and the charitable arm of Iglesia ni Cristo or Church of Christ, has worked tirelessly to provide training, resources, and opportunities to vulnerable communities, empowering them to achieve their full potential to alleviate poverty. Lives have been transformed, communities strengthened, and hope rekindled through its various programs. Joining us today is Ms. Tru Santos Matias, UNLAD International's chairperson, to tell us more about the advocacy of the organization and the great work it continues to do 10 years on. Welcome to Open for Business, Ms. Tru, and congratulations po on your 10th anniversary.
Thank you so much po, CRV, for having me and featuring UNLAD International.
Ma'am Tru, ang huli ko pong pag-cover ng UNLAD ay noong pumunta tayo sa Hearts and Hands sa Tagaytay at saka sa Embrace Bake Shop sa Cavite. So far, how are the two institutions or stores or venues doing now po?
Maganda po ang naging feedback po ng communities po doon. At ngayon po, nag-open pa po tayo ng marami pa pong opportunities para po sa mga differently abled. Ngunit ang Embrace po ay isang anak lang po ito ng UNLAD. So ang UNLAD po ay isang mas malaking organization.
Yun po ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon. Alam natin na ang UNLAD, with the name itself, di ba? Parang gusto niyang iangat ang mga tao sa kahirapan. Paano po ba ito nagsimula?
Napakaganda po ng kasaysayan or history po ng UNLAD dahil ito po ay nagmumula pa po sa panahon po ng kapatid na Felix Y. Manalo. Ito nga po ay isang charity arm ng Iglesia ni Cristo kung saan nagbibigay po tayo ng long-term solutions para maibsan ng kahirapan. Kaya noon pa man po, nung panahon po ng kapatid na Felix Manalo sa kanilang pamamahala, ay meron na rin pong mga pagtuturo sa mga kapatid sa Iglesia ni Cristo ng barbering, paggugupit at saka po pagtatahi. At nung panahon naman po ng kapatid na Eranio Manalo, nagkaroon po ng isang mas formal institution na ang tawag po noon ay New Era Training Center, kung saan mas na-formalize po yung pagtuturo at mas marami pa pong naturuan at mga courses na in-offer. Ngayon naman po, sa kasalukuyan, sa pamamahala po ng kapatid na Eduardo V. Manalo, lalo pa pong pinaigting at pinalawak po ang pagtulong na maibsan po ang kahirapan. Kaya na-establish po ang UNLAD noong 2013. Kaya po kami 10 years na po ngayon.
What is interesting with what you mentioned, Ma'am Tru, is that UNLAD helps not only members of the church, but also it helps non-members. So you are not discriminating if you are a member of the organization. As a matter of fact, the help that you provide is for both. Bakit po ganon yung layunin?
Yun po talaga ang layunin ng UNLAD. Wala po tayong pinipiling kasarian man o lahi o sitwasyon. Talagang nakaagapay po tayo para po sa lahat. Dahil nga po nakilala naman po ang Iglesia ni Cristo sa mga paglingap sa mamamayan or kung tawagin po natin yun ay care for humanity. Hindi po yun namimili kung sino man pong tutulungan. Lahat po ay bukas po para sa pagtulong. Dahil hindi lang naman po mga kapatid sa iglesia ang mga may hirap, buong mundo po ang amin pong tinutulungan.
We are also lucky, Ma'am Tru, that we are part of the anniversary celebration. As a matter of fact, we covered a lot of your events. Also, the recreation center, the Unity Games. You celebrated with different colors, with the teams. But during my introduction, I mentioned about the team's dedication. Kasi alam natin na kapag nagtuturo ka, tumutulong ka, livelihood ka,
Opo.
parang kailangan talaga andun yung teamwork at sinabi nga natin na parang andun yung unwavering dedication. Ito po ba ay talagang kasama sa mission tsaka vision po ng UNLAD?
Ang core values and objectives po ng UNLAD ay pagkakaisa po sa pagtutulungan. At ang mga kawani po, ang mga staff po natin sa UNLAD, alam po nila na sila po ay natulungan ng UNLAD at nakakatulong pa po sila sa iba. Kaya napakataas po ng kanilang damdamin patungkol po sa kanilang ginagawa at ito po ay beyond po sa kanilang pagtanggap at pagbibigay po ng livelihood sa kanila sapagkat yung impact po nito ay napakalaki po. Kung kaya talagang nananatili po ang matibay na pagkakaisa at pagtutulungan po ng team po namin sa UNLAD.
Napansin nga po namin when we covered that, we saw volunteers and their families working together and they show talagang the team spirit. Ano po ang view ninyo doon sa mga corporate social responsibility na ganito na tumutulong para maibsan ang kahirapan but at the same time sila mismo ay nagsasakripisyo? Sabi nyo nga kanina, all the members of the volunteers and their families, they were very willing to help. Hindi nila kinukonsidera ito na trabaho, kundi ito ay paglilingkod.
Yes po, service po talaga. Dahil nga po ang UNLAD ay isang non-stock, non-profit organization, seryoso po tayo doon po sa mga katagang pong iyon. Kung kaya gusto ko nga rin din pong linawin dahil kahit po open for business po ang atin pong show po ngayon, business-like po siya, pero ito po isang organization na ang lahat po ng revenue na kinikita ng UNLAD ay bumabalik po sa kawang gawa. At kitang-kita po yun ang lahat ng aming mga kawani. Kaya sila po, eager sila na magtrabaho po sa UNLAD. Ano man po ang kanilang katayuan sa buhay, mga volunteer man po sila at mga nagsiservisyo sa UNLAD. Kaya gustong-gusto po nila na makipagkaisa sa mga layunin po ng UNLAD. Dahil nakikita po nila ang mga proyekto na naisasagawa po para po maibalik sa kawang gawa at makapagbigay pa po ng marami pa pong trainings and livelihood sa mga tao.
Ma'am Drew, it's good that you pointed that out because, of course, with the other organizations, with the CEOs that I interview here, they look at the bottom lines, they look at profit margins, they count the monetary value of all their projects. But in your case, ang napapansin namin, yung bilang ng natutulungan, bilang ng nabibigyan ng trabaho, at bilang ng mga inisyatibo. So, yun po ba ang pagkakaiba ng organization katulad ng UNLAD as a non-profit organization?
Yun po talaga ang malaking pinagkaiba po nito sa mga for-profit organization and stock organization dahil po hindi po talaga nauuna ang pagtingin po sa bottom line. Ang mission and vision po kasi ng UNLAD is to alleviate poverty through livelihood and education. So ang mga metrics po na aming tinitingnan ay kung gaano karami po ang natulungan na mabigyan ng livelihood at nabigyan po ng mga trainings. Ngunit hindi pa rin naman po natin maisa sa walang bahala yung bottom line. Kung kaya ang mga future namin pong tinitingnan ay yung triple bottom line. If you've heard of the framework, yung triple bottom line po kasi is ang impact po ng ginagawa ng isang organization is through financial, social, and environmental. Kaya po naging triple bottom line. So yun po yung goal po namin na ma-achieve po ng organization na katulad po ng UNLAD na isang non-profit, non-stock organization na magkaroon po ng matataas na impact doon po sa tatlong larangan po na yun.
We can also say, Ma'am Drew, that it's based on world-class standards. Kasi when you talk of the three pillars that you mentioned, profit, parang planet or environment,
Yes
and
po,
the social
PPP,
impact,
opo.
di ba? Even the top corporations now look at sustainability issues, how they make their organizations, products, and services sustainable. And they look also at the environmental impacts, which is maganda yung pangatlong tanong. Sabi niya dito, in fact, it is foremost in the Sustainable Development Goal of the United Nations, which is to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Taking up this challenge is is Herculean enough, and to reach 10 years, doing so is quite a feat. So, paano po ba yung journey ng UNLAD, and how have you grown to expand your flagship projects nationwide and even outside the Philippines? Balita ko, ma'am, hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas pala ito, kundi marami din tayong hindi mga kababayan, kundi ibang lahi ang natutulungan ng UNLAD. Can you expound more on this po?
Dahil nga po ang layunin ng UNLAD ay makapag-generate po ng maraming trabaho, makapagbigay po ng mga livelihood and trainings, ang mga inisip po natin ng mga livelihood centers na itaguyod o itayo ay yung makakapagbigay po ng maraming trabaho. So ang isa po sa pinakamalaking livelihood center po ng UNLAD ay ang Garments Factory. Na alam naman po natin na kapag factory, manufacturing industry, marami po talagang kinakailangang manpower po dito. Kaya isa po ito sa naitatag ng UNLAD na masasabi po nating matagumpay dahil ito po ang isa sa mga una din po noong 2013 na magpahanggang ngayon ay matagumpay pong nag-e-expand at marami pong na-generate mga trabaho. More than 1,000 na po ang mga natulungan po natin na mabigyan sa Garments Factory lamang po. At hindi lang po nagtatapos sa Garments Factory. Tayo po ay umisip din po ng mga proyekto katulad po ng job generation para po sa mga taga-food industry. So, meron po tayong UNLAD food group kung saan ang mga canteens po ng mga paaralan, ng School for Ministers, ang university po, New Era University, at ang iba pa pong mga kagawaran, meron po tayong mga ino-operate po na canteen po doon.
Going back to this Garments Factory, kasi nung nakaraan, napanood natin sa sa palagay ninyo, yung binisita ni Pat P. and Ali Soto, yung Garments, di ba, factory, and they were amazed how it has grown. And maliban pa dito sa Pilipinas, meron din kayong mga itinayo na Garments Factories sa Africa, na kung saan kayo recently nanggaling. How do you choose sino yung matutulungan sa area na yon? Paano po ninyo pinipili yung inyong pupuntahan na matutulungan?
Tayo po kasi wala po tayong pinipili. Pero syempre po, nagdaraan din po tayo sa mga assessments and feasibility studies kasama po ng mga board of trustees po natin para maipagtagumpay po at maging sustainable po ang mga itatayo pong proyekto. Ang isa pong maganda pong kwento ng pagtatayo, yung tungkol po sa paglalagay po natin ng Garments Factory sa Tacloban.
Okay.
Sa Tacloban po kasi, nagkaroon po tayo ng Garments Factory po doon bilang tugon po sa napakatinding nangyari noong pong bagyong Yolanda. Napakadami po naging biktima po noon. Talagang tragedy na po yun. Devastated po yung mga tao po noon. Hindi lang po kahirapan. At dahil nawalan pa po sila ng bahay, nawalan po sila ng hanap buhay. Kung kaya ang Iglesia ni Cristo, kinatuwang po ang FYM Foundation at ang UNLAD para po magkaroon po ng pagtulong sa mga biktima ng Yolanda. At nagpatayo po doon ng mga pabahay. Bahagi po ng UNLAD doon ay nagtayo po tayo ng Garments Factory po doon po sa Alang-Alang, Leyte. At nagbinigyan po ng hanap buhay yung mga biktima po ng Yolanda. Yun po ang isa sa mga nagiging assessment at decision making sa mga pag-establish po namin ng mga proyekto ng UNLAD. At sa Kwakwa naman po sa South Africa, nagtayo din po tayo doon dahil mas mahirap pa po sa Pilipinas ang Africa dahil nga po ang kadalasang itinatanong po sa atin, bakit sa Africa pa kayo tutulong? Ang dami namang mahirap dito sa Pilipinas. Ang sagot po natin doon, yun nga po, wala po tayong pinipili kung sino po ang tutulungan ng UNLAD. At sa totoo po, dito po sa Pilipinas, halos araw-araw na po tayo naglilingap. At nakita po natin na talaga pong napakahirap po ng estado ng buhay po doon sa kontinente po ng Africa. Meron po tayong naipatayong mga eco-farms po sa iba't ibang bansa po sa kontinente ng Africa. At meron po tayong Garments Factory doon po sa Kwakwa, Free State Province of South Africa. Kaya po tayo nakapiling magtayo po doon ng Garments Factory dahil isa po yung industrial site na nagkaroon po tayo ng opportunity na makabili po ng property po doon at halos 500 Afrikano po ang natulungan po natin na mabigyan po ng hanap buhay.
Wow! So talagang ang pagtulong, hindi lang sa Pilipinas, pero tama kayo, Ma'am Trudon, dito hindi na kayo tumitigil sa pagtulong. And then you also go to the different countries and we know the state of Africa now. Kung tayo below the poverty line, I'm
Opo.
sure mas matindi ang
Opo.
ang economic situation nila doon. In this case ho pala, ang UNLAD ay maraming mga initiatives na ginagawa. So, pwede po bang maikwento ninyo ano yung mga effective strategies na ito to alleviate poverty? And how does UNLAD incorporate them into its work?
Alam niyo si RV, wala po talagang direct dito na sagot o solusyon. Ngunit tayo po, sinisikap natin na magkaroon po lagi ng tugon. Kaya po ang battle cry po natin is fight poverty. Ang isa po na strategy po natin sa UNLAD para po malabanan ng kahirapan ay through education po talaga. Dahil nakita po namin dito po sa Pilipinas, tinatasan po tayo ng KGP Santos na mag-ikot po sa mga depressed island sa Visayas region. At nakita po natin talaga yung kahirapan po doon ng pamumuhay at kung bakit napakataas ng cost of living sa mga mahihirap po na lugar. Ang isa po talaga na nakita po namin at nag-uugat po lahat ay yung lack of education po talaga. Number one po siya. Kung kaya yung mga livelihood projects po na itinataguyod po natin, nagbibigay po tayo ng libreng training sa skilled or unskilled po na gusto pong magtrabaho po sa UNLAD. At yun nga po, ang mga trainings and seminars na pinoprovide po ng UNLAD, ang isa po sa nakikita po nating mahusay na strategy para po maibsan ng kahirapan dahil yung development po ng ating sarili through education, ang maaari pong makapag-angat sa estado po ng ating mga buhay at malabanan po ang kahirapan.
That's a very brilliant response, Ma'am True. Balikan ko lang yung sinabi nyo nga sa Yolanda. So, nung nagkaroon ng kalamidad doon at halos hindi lang Pilipinas ang nakabalita, kundi buong mundo. Ang dami din mga bansa at mga international organizations ang tumulong sa atin doon. Now, ang ginawa ninyo ay it's not yung kasabihan, it may be cliche, but yung sinasabi na do not give your friends or whoever fish, but teach them how to fish. So, saan nyo kinukuha yung mga nagtuturo, yung volunteers? Ito po ba sinasala nyo rin? Siyempre, dahil this is a non-profit organization, hindi ito maisahan tulad na, oh, you are the brightest, you are the most expensive worker, we will hire you. Di ba? Parang dapat siguro, baka, which you will respond, may puso rin yung volunteer na hindi siya titingin doon sa halaga ng ibabayad sa kanya.
Opo.
So how do you get volunteers or teachers, educators to help you in your advocacy?
The advocacy itself po speaks for itself na talagang yung mga volunteer po na yan, mga trainers, dumadating po yan sa amin. At sila po mismo ang nag-o-offer ng kanilang mga services sa paglilingkod at pagbibigay po ng mga training at pagtuturo. Kahit po hindi po namin sila hanapin dahil talagang nakikita po nila, pati po mga kamag-anak din po ng iba po naming mga kawani ay talagang willing po silang tumulong. At dyan naman po tayo kilala din bilang mga Iglesia ni Cristo sa pagkakaisa at pagtutulungan po. At lagi pong nakaabang ang mga tao, ang mga kapatid po natin na tumulong po. Kung kaya yung mga pangangailangan po natin na mga nagtuturo ay napaka-easy po ang access po natin sa kanila.
Is this also open to maybe professionals who are not necessarily members of the organization po?
Yes po, open po tayo sa lahat. Hindi po tayo exclusive kasi po yun din po yung isang misconception din po dahil nga po yung iba, akala po nila exclusive lang po tayo for members of the Church of Christ, pero tayo po ay open po para po sa lahat.
Pagdating po doon sa komunidad, ano po din yung strategy po ninyo sa pagtatayo ng mga programang pangkabuhayan? Kasi 'di ba sa Pilipinas may kanya-kanyang produkto, kultura, 'di ba? At pinag-aaralan din natin ano yung mga produkto na sikat doon sa ibang bayan. What are your strategies in choosing specific livelihood projects at how do you involve the community in that specific area to help you in the advocacy po?
Gaya po ng nasabi ko po kanina, ang mga proyekto po na ating pinasisimulan ay lagi pong naka-anchor sa kung ano po yung pinakamaraming ma-generate po na trabaho. Kung kaya, yun po yung atin po laging isinasagawa ng feasibility study sa mga area kung saan may opportunity po tayo na makapagtayo, kung ano po yung proyekto na makapag-generate ng marami pong trabaho. At kung makapili na po kami kung ano po ang feasible sa area po na yon, and na-assess po namin na feasible po yung garments factory o iba man pong industriya, doon po namin ini-involve ang community. Kung ano po yung mga klase ng manpower na pwede po nating matulungan dito po sa area po na ito.
Meron din po bang teams on research and development? May tumitingin ba sa mga produkto ba yun? O may mga tumitikim din ba dyan? Or may nagbibigay sa inyo ng mga sample para makita nila yung quality? How is there also an R&D po in UNLAD?
Yes po, meron din po tayong research and development. Sinisika po namin lagi na magkaroon po ng research and development sa mga nagpo-propose din po sa UNLAD. Kasi marami din pong lumalapit sa atin na may produkto ay kung maaari po ba nating ibenta o pakinabangan sa UNLAD bilang makatulong po sa pag-generate pa po ng maraming trabaho. At yung iba din po, nagpo-propose po sila na maaari po silang magturo. Yung mga proyekto po minsan ay naipopropose na po sa amin, tinitingnan na lang din po namin kung feasible po itong gawin.
So, ma'am, in this process, posible po na because they give you a lot of options, probably in terms of quality, in terms of raw materials, at katulad na nga ng sinabi nyo, hindi naman ito for profit. So, posible, ma'am, na bumaba yung presyo. Tama po?
Opo.
Oh, so, kumbaga parang kunyari, pag nilapit nila sa inyo, so kumbaga hindi yung layunin nyo ay talagang magbigay ng napakataas na margin
Opo,
na na mataas. Pero ito po ba ay kino-consider nyo rin po pagdating sa pricing strategy, pagdating sa offering ng new products?
Opo, syempre po, kino-consider pa rin po natin yan. Nagdadaan din po siya sa costing katulad din po ng mga traditional businesses. Sapagkat lahat naman po ng profit, kasi po pag non-profit organization, ang tawag po din ay surplus. Kumbaga, yun po yung sobra dun sa naging kita. So, yun po, bumabalik po siya sa mga bago na naman pong proyekto at makapagbibigay na naman po ng maraming hanap buhay at pangtulong.
Sa loob ng 10 taon, malamang na hindi naman ganun kadali ang pagpapalawak ng kaalaman, advokasya at paglalatag ng programa para sa may hirap. What are some of the challenges that you have faced in achieving poverty alleviation goals and how have you overcome them? I'm sure araw-araw kung marami kaming problema, ma'am, ay mas marami din sa inyo. So, ano po yung mga challenges na pagdaanan ninyo at paano nyo na-overcome po?
Hindi po lahat ito mangyayari o hindi po ito lahat magtatagumpay kung hindi po kami tinulungan at kinawaan po ng ating Panginoong Diyos. Yun lang po, wala na pong iba pong sikreto po doon dahil lahat naman po for-profit or non-profit organization nagdadaan po sa mga pagsubok. Ito pong UNLAD, napakadami po talagang pagsubok. Ako po ay 2 taon pa lang pong chairperson. Ang former chairperson po ay si Anita Santos. Kaya sila po ang talagang nakakita ng mga pasimula dahil yun po talaga yung mahirap. Kami po ay halos second generation na po. At yung napasimulan po nila, hindi na po namin dinanas yun. Kung kaya ang makakapagkwento po nito talaga ay yung mga loyal na mga nag-serve sa UNLAD po. Sila nga po yung gagawaran sa amin pong 10th year anniversary. Sila po siguro yung mas pinakamagandang tanungin sa mga pagsubok na pinagdaanan ng UNLAD.
Ma'am Tru, magandang tanong din ito. How do you balance the short-term needs of those experiencing poverty with the long-term solutions needed to create sustainable change? So lumalabas, parang short-term yung need ng tao, pero kayo ngayon, parang gusto nyo, hindi nga pagbibigay lang ng isda lang, o tuturuan ka namin na mangisda. So how do you balance that towards a sustainable change?
Sa katunayan po, ang mga short-term solution nga po na pinangtutulong po ng Iglesia ni Cristo through the charity arms of FYM Foundation and UNLAD, marami po tayong mga lingap sa mamamayan. Yun po yung mga short-term na ibinibigay po. Maging sa mga kawani po ng UNLAD, nagbibigay din po tayo ng mga lingap. Sa katunayan, ito po yung mga benepisyo na nga po nila dahil hindi po lumilipas ang isang taon na hindi po sila nabibigyan ng mga lingap or mga goodie bags, kung tawagin po, na may laman pong mga food parcels sa loob na pangtawid po talaga din po yun sa kanilang pamumuhay siguro po for like a week. Yun po yung mga short term na pangtulong po natin at pagtugon po sa kahirapan. Ang long term naman po na ating po itinutulong, yun nga po yung pagbibigay po ng mga trainings and educations. And yun pong mga livelihood na ino-offer po natin na open po para sa mga skilled or unskilled po. Doon po namin binabalansi po yun.
Ang balita natin, ma'am, at katulad din ng promote dito sa Net25, ang daming pinupuntahan na paglilingap, di ba? Hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas, sa ibang bansa, at pumupunta pa kayo kasama ang lingap doon sa mga isla sa Pilipinas. May mga naikwento po sa amin at pinakita din dito sa Net25, yung mga isla na halos walang tubig at yung iba nga daw doon ay talagang first time na may mga naglingap sa kanila. Yun po ba, is there also a way for you to somehow track these areas, and then do you go back po to those areas and revisit them and check how your long-term initiatives are working in those areas po?
Yun nga po yung naging assignment po namin na ang pag-assess po kung paano pauunlarin ang Visayas dahil nga po nagbigay na po tayo ng mga short-term po na pagtulong doon ng mga lingap. Kung kaya ang bahagi na po ng UNLAD ngayon ay mag-isip naman po ng mga projects kung paano po sila matutulungan ng long-term. Marami na rin po kaming mga naihain po na pinagpaplanuhan ngayon para po sa pagtugon nga po doon po sa kahirapan para po mabigyan po ng mga long-term solution yung mga tao po sa Visayas na tama po kayo, yun po yung sa water problem po nila. Napakahirap po ng water po doon kung kaya doon po tumataas yung cost of living po nila. Dahil inaangkat pa po nila yung tubig, kung kaya yun po yung isa po namin tinitingnan kung paano po maiibsan pa po makakatulong sa kanila doon. At ang isa pa nga po naming proyekto, yung UNLAD school bus na amin pong ilo-launch. Ang UNLAD school bus po, ang isa po nating naisip na ipangtugon nga po doon po sa mga isla po sa Visayas, kung saan gagawa po tayo ng isang bus na i-convert po siya into a school na may mga tables and chairs and meron pong lectern para po sa lecturer at mag-iikot po siya sa mga ports kung saan pwede pong pumunta yung mga tao po sa isla at makinig po ng mga educational and livelihood seminars po para po sa kanila.
So, UNLAD on wheels ito?
Opo, para pong education on wheels.
Education. Wow, wow. Abangan ho namin at I'm sure ang Open for Business ay makasama sa pagtutour ng UNLAD on wheels na yan, education on wheels. Related po ito, Ma'am Tru, sa binanggit niyo din. How do you prioritize the needs of different groups within the population to serve, such as women, children, and the elderly? Sabi nyo nga, wala kayong pinipili. Pero sa totoo lang, pinili nyo ng PWDs kasi di ba sila yung minsan ostracize, sila yung nawawalan ng economic opportunities. So yun mismo ay somehow pumili kayo pero talagang yung may kahirapan na makapagtrabaho ang pinili ninyo. So, paano po yung prioritization ninyo sa iba-ibang grupong ito?
Napakaganda po ng tanong at excited nga po kaming sagutin po yan dahil yun po ang isa sa pinagmamalaki din po namin. Dahil po wala po talaga kaming pinipili Pero binibigyan po namin ng highlight minsan ang mga marginalized po na sector, katulad nga po ng mga differently abled or PWDs. At ang isa pa nga po ay yung mga senior citizens. Nag-hire din po tayo. Meron po tayong mga kawani na 80 years old, 70, meron pa nga po tayong 90. Hanggat kaya po nilang magtrabaho at malalakas pa po ang kanilang mga katawan, ay pwede po silang maglingkod. At ang isa po namin gusto pa pong i-highlight na marami din po tayo nabibigyan ng opportunity sa livelihood ng mga byudo or byuda po. Dahil isa din po sa nagiging impact po sa kanila kapag nawala po ang kanilang kabiyak, ay yun nga po, lumalala ang kanilang kahirapan.
Wow, this is very inspiring, and I like to focus on the marginalized sector of the society, from people who are senior citizens to PWDs and women. Tama po.
Opo.
So, paano nyo mini-measure po yung progress at saka yung metrics ng UNLAD pagdating sa poverty alleviation? Kasi sabi nyo nga kanina, iba ang paraan ng for-profit na pag-measure sa bottom line. Pero ngayon, lalo na ka-celebrate lang ng 10th year anniversary, and we wish you the best of luck and the progress for the next 10. Pagdating po sa pagre-report ninyo doon sa ating pamamahala, ano po yung nire-report nyo rin na progress? Ano-ano po yun? Di ba pag sa profit yun, what's the net profit? Mga ganyan. In your case po, how do you measure or track your progress?
Yun nga po, babalik po tayo doon sa aking nabanggit din po kanina na yung metrics po namin to success is kung gaano karami po ang mga natulungan at nabigyan ng trabaho, nabigyan ng livelihood, at nabigyan po ng mga trainings and seminars po ng UNLAD. Dahil nga po, sa metric po na yon, nakita po natin, ang dami po pala nating natutulungan ng mga differently abled, yung mga persons with disabilities kung tawagin po. Kung kaya, nagkaroon po tayo ng separate na organization. Yun po yung Embrace. Ang Embrace po ay anak po siya ng UNLAD.
Parang nag-spin off na po siya.
Opo, nagkaroon po siya ng different organization na napalaki na din po dahil napaka-close din po sa puso ng pamamahala po ang mga differently abled, kung kaya pinasya po nila na magkaroon po talaga ng Embrace.
In that case, Ma'am True, parang with all your initiatives, pag lumalaki yun, you institutionalize it, you put different systems in it, and ang kagandahan nun, nakakagawa ng very specific or customized projects para doon.
Opo.
Ito po ba ay plano nyo rin gawin sa iba? Halimbawa, eventually, meron kayong grupo naman ng mga mangingisda o grupo naman ng mga mananahi. Is that a plan in the future po?
Opo, sa ngayon po talagang palaki na po ng palaki, at sa awa at tulong po ng Panginoong Diyos at sa suporta po ng pamamahala ng Iglesia ni Cristo, ay palawak na po ng palawak at palaki na po ng palaki ang UNLAD po, at napakarami na pong natutulungan po ng UNLAD. Kaya yun po, hindi po malayo na magkaroon po ng iba pa pong organisasyon na maging anak po ng UNLAD dahil sa lawak na po ng kanyang mga nagagawa po.
Looking ahead, ano po ba ang mga nakikita nyo pa na mga plano, goals for the future to fight poverty? Nabanggit nyo na po yung isa na ilo-launch po ninyo, yung roving or mobile or education on wheels or UNLAD on wheels. What are those plans po na aasahan po ng mga manonood?
Sa ngayon po, marami po kaming mga nakalinya po na mga proyekto na bubuksan, at hindi po talaga kami tumitigil sa pag-iisip po kung ano pa po yung pwede pa pong ipangtulong sa mga kababayan at mga tao sa buong mundo po para po mabigyan po sila ng livelihood at makapagbigay po ng mga trainings. Bukod po sa UNLAD School Bus, ay may inihahanda din po tayo pinagplaplanuhan na magkaroon po ng isang UNLAD School. Yun naman po yung isa po sa mga goals po natin na makapagtayo po ng UNLAD School. na isa na po talagang institution and building po para po makapagbigay po ng mga formal trainings and certificate or diploma courses po para po sa livelihood.
Ang ganda nun. Kasi
Opo.
kumbaga pag nakakuha sila ng certification, mas madali silang makakuha ng trabaho.
Opo, yung mga TESDA accredited po na mga courses, yun po yung isa po sa nagpapaunlad din po ng mga careers ng mga tao po pagka po meron po silang mga background po ng ganun. At marami pa po tayong mga inihahanda. Sa katunayan nga po, may mga projects din po tayong bubuksan pa po sa South Africa. At meron din po tayong mga local and marami din pong mga ibinibilin po sa atin na pwede pa po nating i-check kung feasible po na magtayo din po ng mga UNLAD sa iba't ibang bahagi pa po ng mundo. Sa totoo po.
Now, ma'am, pagdating sa CSR, corporate social responsibility, or sustainability efforts, marami pong mga manunood din. Maraming malalaki na negosyo at marami ding MSMEs na gustong gumawa ng kanilang CSR initiatives. Ano po ang maisi-share ninyo sa kanila na mga tips para kung mag-venture into CSR or philanthropic activities ay talagang they will do service beyond lip service?
Opo. Siguro yun po talaga yung maipapayo po natin na yung sinceridad po, yung sincerity po ng CSR projects po nila ay totohanin po nila. Yun po talaga ang CSR. Hindi po talaga siya lip service or hindi po siya parang ginawa nyo lang dahil yun yung uso or yun yung kailangan nating gawin.
Press release lang.
Opo, yun po. Kasi po, maliit man po o malaki, basta po sincere po yung inyong pagtulong, malaki na rin po yung impact po nun sa mga community po na nagbe-benefit po nun.
A lot of organizations, Ma'am Drew, especially be it CSR or for-profit, they always think of innovations. So with UNLAD, in the name of the company itself, when you say UNLAD, there is already movement, di ba? So in your case, what are the innovative solutions or programs to address poverty alleviation?
We are very blessed po to have a group and team po sa UNLAD na very energetic and creative po. Kaya ang dami po naming na bubuong mga concepts and ideas. Ang isa nga po doon yung akin pong na-share na UNLAD School Bus. So yun po ang isang innovative way to address nga po yung naging assignment po namin sa Visayas. At ang isa po naming naging innovative solution noong pong pandemic. Lahat po tayo kasi gumalaw po ng kakaiba ng new normal at saka po talagang lahat po tayo nakapag-isip po ng mga innovative solution. Ang napakalaking challenge po nun kasi ang dami pong kawani ng UNLAD na talaga pong nakaasa po sila sa UNLAD. Kung kaya kailangan po namin gumawa ng mga paraan para po mag-sustain po ang kanilang hanap buhay noon pong pandemya, lalo na po nung lockdown. Kung kaya ang isa po sa mga innovative solution na nagawa po namin ay yung mga machines po namin, ng mga sewing machines, ay ipinadala po namin sa mga bahay po nila at nagbigay po kami ng mga proyekto po sa kanila na maging work from home. Kumbaga, ang naging work from home po namin ay hindi po computer, kundi yung mga nagtatahi po natin, nabigyan pa rin po natin sila ng hanap buhay doon sa kanilang mga bahay.
Because of the pandemic, ang daming mga changes na, di ba? Kumbaga parang sabi mo nga, yung customer behavior, market, yung dati gusto na sa mall, gustong lumabas na sa mall, di ba? Parang kayo ba talagang are you also doing that pagdating sa service ay kailangan hindi ka na rin traditional. You go to social media, you go outside, you listen to your customers. Kasama ba yun sa pag-i-innovate?
Yes, of course po. Lahat po tayo talaga, nagpunta po talaga sa online. Pero ganun pa man po, ang isa pa pong innovative solution po na nabigay naman po natin sa mga nawalan po ng hanap buhay, nagbukas po tayo ng isang trade center kung saan nagpa-lease out po tayo ng napakamurang pwesto sa mga entrepreneurs na mga nag-venture po into online selling dahil nawalan po sila ng mga hanap buhay. Pero nung unti-unti na po kasing naglalax na po yung lockdown, nawawala na rin po sila ng customers online. Kumbaga nagkaroon na naman po sila ng
Face-to-face na naman,
Opo,
no?
yung parang may panahon na half face-to-face, tas yung hindi nyo maintindihan yung mga sitwasyon po noon.
Kasi sabik din yung mga tao na lumabas.
Opo, may mga lumalabas pero may mga nag-work from home pa din. Ngunit, yun nga po ang na-observe po namin noon, yung mga nagtagumpay na sa online businesses nila dahil nawalan sila ng hanap buhay, nung nag-lax na po ulit ang lockdown, bigla na naman po silang nalulugi. Kung kaya ang naging tugon po natin at ipinangtulong po natin sa kanila, meron po tayong binuksan na isang malaking trade center po kung saan nagpa-lease out po tayo sa mga vendors po na mga nawalan po ng hanap buhay, nag-online selling at gusto na pong magtinda din po.
And this is for a minimal fee lang po?
Yes po, opo,
okay.
opo.
There is so much inspiration about UNLAD. And even the conceptualization, as you mentioned, was inspired by the church administration and the leadership of the church administration on this giving back, giving to people, helping people. But when you talk of inspiration, saan po nanggaling ang inspirasyon at mga ideas na ito mula noong simula at hanggang ngayon na kayo ay nagse-celebrate na ng 10th year anniversary?
Ang pagsisimula po kasi ng UNLAD International ay inatasan po ng ating pong tagapamahalang pangkalahatan, ang kapatid na Eduardo V. Manalo, ang kapatid na Glicerio Santos Jr. at ang ka-Anita Santos, na sila po ang mga nagpasimula ng UNLAD noong 2013. Kung kaya sila po ang nagsisilbi po naming inspirasyon dahil sila po talaga yung pundasyon, kumbaga, ng UNLAD kung papaano ito tumakbo at lumago. Sila po ang mga naging kinasangkapan po noon. Sa kanila din po namin nakita ang pagtulong na hands-on po sa mga tao. Dahil sila po mismo, halos po lahat ng mga naging kawani, lahat po yun ay nakilala at nakita po ng ka-Jun at ka-Ani po. At sila po mismo ang mga nagturo at nagpasimula noong sila po ay nabubuhay pa.
Ma'am Tru, if there are some nuggets of wisdom, that they have imparted or left you,
yung pagmamahal po talaga nila sa tao. Napakadami pong layers kasi ng love po eh. Pero yung love na tumulong at matulungan po yung isang individual ay napakataas po talaga. Nandun po talaga yung puso po nila. Kaya yun po hindi ko po malilimutan.
Even for CSR or even for this non-profit organizations, they really have to think like a big business, and that's what we admire here. And of course, what Ma'am Tru mentioned was that sincerity, that if you want to help, it has to come, from the heart. And speaking of the heart po, Ma'am Tru, your camera, the viewers are listening. What is it and who do you want to thank? If people would want to join or contribute to UNLAD, where can they find you po?
Una po sa lahat, binabati ko po ang lahat po ng aming mga kasama sa UNLAD ng happy 10th year anniversary po sa inyong lahat. At sa GP Santos po, binabati ko din po sila. Maraming salamat po sa inyong mga pagtulong po sa amin. At syempre po, hindi po natin malilimutan ng kapatid na Eduardo V. Manalo sa kanila pong pagtitiwala at pagmamahal po sa atin. Ang pagpapasalamat po natin sa ating Panginoong Diyos. Ang UNLAD office po ay nasa 2nd floor po ng Central Park Building sa tapat po ng Net 25.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Tru. This has been a very engaging conversation. We learned a lot of things about CSR and a lot of things about philanthropic activities of UNLAD. On behalf of Open for Business, we would like to congratulate UNLAD for its 10th year anniversary, and hopefully we can cover a lot of the innovative projects and initiatives of UNLAD in our future episodes. Thank you so much. That's Ms. Tru Santos Matias, the chairperson of UNLAD International. Open for Business. We'll be back. Stay with us. Our buzzword of the week is non-profit organization. It is a group organized for purposes other than generating profit. and in which no part of the organization's income is distributed to its members, directors, or officers. Through UNLAD's various programs and initiatives, it has provided training, resources, and opportunities to individuals and families struggling with poverty. Its efforts have not only helped to improve their economic circumstances, but also their overall well-being and quality of life. We congratulate and we are proud of the impact it has made and salute its dedicated team, partners, and supporters who have been in its continuing journey to empower the poor. As we look back on its past 10 years, we were reminded of the challenges, the lessons learned, and the successes UNLAD has achieved. We bid you well as you move forward to many more years to remain committed to your mission and continue to work towards a nation where poverty is a thing of the past. Thank you for the empowerment, and we at Open for Business look forward to the next 10 years of creating positive change. Kami ay inyong kaisa sa matatag na pagpapaunlad para maibsan ang kahirapan. Thank you very much, Ms. True Santos Matias, at isang pagpupugay sa adhikain at gawain ng UNLAD International. Maraming salamat sa isang oras na pagsama sa amin upang tunghayan ang isang makabuluhang usapan ukol sa negosyo dito lang sa Open for Business. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan nyo kaming muli dito sa Open for Business. Catch us too on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe on our social media page at Net25 TV. We will bring you more insights from industry experts, thought leaders, CEOs, and featured SMEs. Together, let us help encourage business development in the Philippines. Sharpen your business acumen, feel the pulse, and set the trend for as long as you're informed and open for business. Ito po si Cesar Vallejos. Marami pong salamat.